a lot like Lilith. So of course Percival has only had what, hours for this to ruminate inside his head. But um, this just
Oh, it's because there we go.
it looks to me, and I'll wait for Bob to show up, but it looks to me that
Ah,
if Terry looks like the old man, and if Leah looks like Lilith, then that tells me that why would why would Wallace pattern the Nexus Nines after real people? Um, Unless, I mean, it could be, well, if they patterned them after real people, which means that um, maybe they were taking some shortcuts to speed up the process. But does that mean also that memories were shortcutted too? That instead of building memories, I don't know, no one's ever explained what it takes for someone to craft a memory. How long it takes, how much effort it takes, how sensitive is the trauma. You saw that magazine article. I thought that magazine article from Synth, I mean, the cover. I thought that was interesting. Over on the side, it says trauma gives control. Lilith Tyrell explains the finer points of replicant memory design. So, is it hard? Does it take a long time? Did they take shortcuts? Are some of Lilith's memories in Leah? Are these shortcuts coming home to roost? Is Leah unstable because of shortcuts that were made in her design? I don't know. I don't know how you figure any of that out. And now the mayhem has started. But what really got me thinking on this tack was that um, I don't know if we had security cameras. I know we knew that the outside security thing was accessed with a retinal scan, but I don't remember if we had security camera footage of Leah entering the building, the lab. But it just smacks of Leah having. What struck me was, hey, maybe Leah has the same retina, which means that she has the same eyes as Lilith, which means that started me on the whole shortcut theory. And I know Mr. Game Master can't comment, but
my official title in Blade Runner is, by the way, Game Runner.
Game Runner, gotcha. Like a showrunner on TV.
Nice.
I don't know. What do you think? Where's Bob? Oh, he's only two
Uh,
minutes late. What is it? 4 in the morning there or something?
Something like that, yeah. He's uh he's quite the trooper.
New Zealand.
be back in a minute, guys.
Go ahead.
Remind me where we are officially on time.
You are in the you are in the night shift of day 2.
Night shift of day 2.
Yeah. which
Morning. Hold hold it. Is that shift 3 or shift 4?
that
Shift 3.
is shift 3, I think. Hold
Okay.
on, let me double check. Because it's all based on the. I can tell you based on where we're at in the game. Just give me one moment. There comes Bob. Um, I've said it once, I'll say it again. It's awesome they put all this stuff in here, but it's a little much. There's so much going on here. There we go. Let's see here.
Howdy.
Morning. Okay, so this is the this is the night shift of day 2, which is the last shift of day 2. So the
Oh,
next shift will be the morning of day 3.
which means we're supposed to be either taking downtime or we take stress.
Correct.
But tomorrow morning is when she's supposed to leave the planet, right?
That's correct to your based on all the information you've received.
All right.
How you doing, Bob?
Good itself.
Doing all right. Doing all right. So Percival had some interesting hypotheses that he was kind of floating out there while we were waiting on you.
Yeah, so I'll clue you in since Sharif already heard these, but I've started going through in Percival's been going through in his mind all the stuff we've collected and everything that's happened, and some things don't seem or some things seem strange, but what started him down this path, what started us down this path was that Leah or somebody let themselves in with a retinal scan, which means their retina matches the retina of somebody, which means it was patterned or copied rather than created new.
And if I can add to that real quick, Terry did tell you guys that only his and Lilith's
Correct.
retina opened the door.
So that started me thinking, wait a minute, Leah and Lilith have some similarities when I look at them, although the pictures are grainy and stuff. But Terry looks like old man Terrell. If you look at Terry's picture, so I asked Marty to pop it back up. I had seen a familiarity before. I kept thinking, where have I seen that before? And then it struck me. Terry looks like, was that Lilith's
Uncle.
uncle? It
Yep.
looks like him.
Melvin Tyrell.
So if they can replicate his, they can replicate somebody else. So that started me down this path of, have shortcuts been made to do it faster, or to, for some reason, if shortcuts been made, did they copy DNA sequences so it would be easier to do? If does that mean they also copied memories? Are some of Leah's memories not fabricated memories? I don't know how hard it is to make a memory, but if they were trying to cheat the process or move it up or make it better, or I don't know what, just meet a deadline, a corporate deadline, if they copied, then does that mean they copied DNA? Does that mean they copied memories? And are their memories conflicting? Now, the only thing that bugs me was that Percival and Fenna, right, saw the replay of the memory with the daughter getting killed. And the daughter, when we met Sarah later, I thought I thought we concluded that Sarah doesn't look like the girl in the memory, but which means that that memory was fabricated. I don't know. I'm confused, but for some reason, it does seem like Leah thinks that Sarah is her daughter and not Lilith's daughter. And maybe she's all messed up because of these shortcuts. Maybe she is going off the deep end, but because of these shortcuts in the DNA fabrication, shortcuts in the memory, shortcuts. You know, the classic corporate greed overriding ethics or whatever. You know, the that old that old chestnut. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm it's been bugging me ever since someone let themselves in, and Terry said that it was only there were only two people that could let themselves in, and one was right in front of us, and the other one, well,
So,
all right.
uh,
So, Sharif, are you back?
you said you'd be back in 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Um, I just discovered something, by the way, on the internet, which is absolutely terrifying, and I have it on my phone, and I'm just going to hold it up to the camera.
What's that?
Um, I present you guys Harrison Ripley, or yeah, whatever you want to call it. But it's Harrison Ford's face on Sigourney Weaver as Ripley. It's
Who would
horrible.
do such a thing?
I don't know. It's absolutely terrifying. But I guess if anyone could pull it off, it'd be Harrison Ford. Um, oh, sorry about that. All right.
I was looking on a page on the internet that said that Christopher Walken was originally offered that part for Luke Skywalker. I mean Han Solo.
Oh, jeez.
I think that's what it said. Could you imagine?
You're all clear, kid. I can't even do Christopher
I
Walken.
know.
You're all clear. Now let's blow this thing and go home. I mean, what the hell? I just, I don't see it. Lucas also wanted Kurt Russell. Um, Lucas wanted Kurt Russell, but Kurt Russell's there you can find them online. There are some screen tests with Kurt Russell as Han Solo next to Mark Hamill as Luke, um, and it's just terrible. It's just bad. It just doesn't work. And his director, I think Irvin Kershner directed the first one, but his director told him that Harrison Ford's the guy, and if you don't give it to Harry, he didn't want to use Harrison Ford because Harrison Ford already been in American Graffiti. But his director told him if you don't use Harrison Ford, then you have to find a different director. I'm out. So, oh, the things that could have been like, I'm sure you're aware that Sylvester Stallone was supposed to be the Terminator before Arnold, but Sylvester Stallone had a shooting conflict. But I don't know if you know who the guy was originally before it was Sylvester Stallone. It was O.J. Simpson.
Oh man.
That wouldn't have aged well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get the big faces off the map here. You guys are up in Sector 2. You're at the Lilith Memory Labs where you found, you had decided you wanted to go back up there to talk to Lilith, and you found Terry, the replicant receptionist, unconscious behind the reception desk, and inside you found Lilith's corpse. She was shot in the head. And her daughter appears to be missing. Some of her daughter's stuff was rifled through and gone. Um, you guys called it in and got got additional support down, and during which time you revived Terry uh, to find out that someone you believed to be Leah, because you guys showed him the picture and it matched, uh, got through the retina scanner, uh, was very agitated, knocked him out, and that's the last thing he remembered. And there's no I don't remember there being any security footage inside because there's no, except for in the holographic chamber. There's no cameras or that type of thing. So we're in the night shift of the second day, and as Percival pointed out a few minutes ago, you guys believe Leah is scheduled to leave the planet on the morning shift of day three, which is the next shift. So that's where you guys are at the moment.
All right. Um, I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up that picture that Leah had of her so-called daughter again. Let me see. Leah's apartment. There it is. And do me a favor.
Sarah Tyrell?
Yeah, we met Sarah, so I know what she looks like. But
Yep.
I personally,
There's the picture. I put it up.
uh, they do look alike. That's strange because the memory that we saw of the girl dying, I asked specifically if it looked like Sarah,
Well,
and
there's some similarities, but they're not they're
it's not.
definitely
They're
not
not
identical.
twins,
No.
but there's some similarities. They're close enough that they're close enough that it might lead. They're close enough that it might lead Leah to think that Sarah is her daughter and not Lilith's daughter if she's unstable. All right. So anyway, let's just let's just assume since we're standing together that everything I talked about has been divulged. All my thoughts and misgivings and everything. Percival's misgivings have been transferred to these guys. Um, the question is, so what? What else are we missing? If these might have all led to Leah being unstable, so maybe we know that Leah's maybe got a problem in design um, or something. Maybe this is the truth. Maybe they did take shortcuts, at least with Leah. But with some of these models, maybe they took shortcuts that have at least floated to the top on Leah and caused her to be unstable. Um, so what? Okay, we still have to find Leah. It's still very possible that if she is nuts because of this poor design or problems with design or interfering memories or poorly designed memories, whatever it is, if she's unstable, that still means she needs to be apprehended. That means she still could have killed or likely killed. So what? Um, if Wallace knew about this, again, so what? You guys have any input on? I mean, I'm trying to figure out where we go next, what we look for clues. I'm thinking, Percival's thinking that he can't take a downtime. Can't take downtime if there's still clues to be ferreted out. On the other hand, there's only so much you can do in the middle of the night, right?
Well,
If you're
and
trying to interface with people.
And it's up to you guys to decide what exactly we want to do next because you're way up in Sector 2. Um, and you know she's supposed to, according to everything you've been told, which you have no reason to disbelieve, she is supposed to leave tomorrow morning on the next shift. So you really do have limited time.
Correct. I feel the time pressure, which is an interesting way of doing it in the game. Um, we still don't know where this moon bus is taken off from. Not for sure. Do you think the Hollywood sign is really a valid clue or just a red herring? What do you think, Bob?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for nothing.
Uh, Finna will tell you to think carefully where you say what, since uh, discussion like that would not just get you busted down to a beat cop, but potentially disappeared as well. Um, and it's interesting, or as interesting as it is as a reason, I'm not sure it helps us to figure out where she's going to be next. And we seem to be very light on clues as to where she's going to be next. And that is my biggest issue currently. Um, Fena will ask Percival to go through any of Lilith's personal diaries or anything account wise, seeing as we now have access to her place before we get kicked out. See if there's any comments on Leah, noted somewhere in a file or something online or in her computers,
Oh,
or whether she's hidden a note on, hey, as a artist, I snuck in some of my own memories to Leah as a kind of signature or something like that. Because that could be the other way. Instead of it being shortcuts, it could just be, I'm the artist. Here's my sneaky signature, or me sharing something, or me trying to make the Nexus more lifelike. So kind of scour her information and see if there's anything that
okay.
we could find, and I guess go through the lab and her personal
Because
space as well.
you understand the bigger issue, which is if they did this to a certain extent on all the Nexus Nines, in other words, if they used real human DNA as a model or segments of DNA purposely to speed up the process or make them more lifelike or whatever, and it led to this flaw in Leah, it could lead to a flaw in all the Nexus Nines. And that
Yes.
would threaten Wallace. Of course, that could also get us disappeared, right?
Well, not just Wallace. I guess it will lead to civil unrest.
You're
Imagine a lot of Nexus Nines, you know, on random planet now suddenly all deemed unfit for purpose, so to speak. So I
that
understand the
includes us.
gravity. Yeah, I understand the gravity of the situation, but
All right,
there's nothing to do if we don't find Leah either way.
let me pull up my character sheet and all right, just I can make a tech roll, but just so you know, even if we find this out, it doesn't give us a clue to where Leah will be next. Do we think we've wrung everything out of Styles and the Aurelian that we can get? They seem to be the only guys that we have our hands on at the moment. All right, where's my tech roll? Right.
Yep. Just as yeah, and to respond to that question, and you guys can certainly have your own opinions, but you guys certainly weren't successful in, like you said, wringing anything else out of the Aurelian and Styles. They both, in fact, told you basically the same story that their resistance is broken into cells that are insulated from each other, to prevent anyone from giving away, too many people. So it didn't really seem to indicate that they truly knew where they were supposed to get picked up.
And I believe with the dice rolls we made, we believed them.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was sort of
yeah. You
the big.
guys had some solid manipulation and insight checks. So
Um. All right. Is Terry conscious? We talked to him,
yeah,
right?
yeah. He's conscious.
Um. Yeah. The problem is with such a long break. What was it? 2 weeks again?
Yeah.
It's uh. It's hard to keep in mind the things that everything that you did if you didn't write it down and make notes. And some of these things don't seem like big details at the time. All right, I'm going to do a tech roll to see what I can find out on her computer and her private diaries and files.
All right.
This could take a while. Meanwhile, Fenna, I think you and Olson should talk to Terry some more. Um, I think it interesting that Terry was knocked out, but Lilith was killed. Now maybe that was a revenge thing. Maybe Leah killed Lilith because of what she quotes did to her unquote. That she was the mastermind of her memories and all this angst and stuff. But um, I just want to make sure that we've covered our bases and that Terry isn't somehow aiding Leah or these Nexus 8s in this underground. Meanwhile, let me make my tech roll.
Time to slap the shit out of the old man. Oh wow.
Oh, look at me go.
Well, it's kind of your thing.
Yeah.
All right. So it's going to take a little bit of time, obviously, for you to do that digging. So while that's going on, Bacher and Fenna, what do you two want to do?
Are we going to interview, what's his name?
Terry
Terry?
again? Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You already
Yeah.
interviewed him once, but yeah, I mean, he's obviously still there. Um, so he's available for you guys to interview again. So he, as you guys are approaching him, he kind of looks up. He's sitting down in a chair. Obviously, he's been tended to by the medics. As you guys approach, he says, "Are there further questions, detectives?"
Just as an aside, um, to Marty VP, what do you want us to focus on with this time?
Well, first of all, I'd like you to ask him one, does he realize that he bears a striking resemblance to Tyrell and what he thinks about that? Um, and get any insights, but I, I want to I want you to ask him to go through his statement again about what happened. Did he see who hit him?
And we know he's a replicant, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
we know he's a replicant.
Yeah, he's in Nexus 9.
And as a Nexus 9, unfortunately, because I think I'm a Nexus 9, right?
So is Fenna.
So is Fenna. So as a Nexus 9, um, it would be interesting to know what his incept date was, and if it precedes us. Fenna and me, for example, is in other words, is he one of the earlier Nexus 9 models? Is there a difference between early and late? Could Leah have been one of the earlier models or something? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out. Um,
Sounds like you're looking for a thread to tug.
I'm looking for a thread. I am. I don't know how to. I don't know how you. I don't know what line of questioning you take to apply pressure to a guy to figure out if he is helping Leah and surreptitiously helping the underground versus just, hey, he happened to be there and he got whacked, and his resemblance to Tyrell obviously is for Lilith to explain, who's dead. Well,
Well, I guess in turn, see what you can find about good old Terry in her files as well. Maybe she's a bit more freely with what she did with good old Terry than even he knows.
Now, this resemblance also extends to in-game. It's not just us looking at the artwork saying this looks like the character from the movie. Maybe the artist used it as inspiration. It's supposed to be in-game as well. He actually looks like the in-game Tyrell.
Yeah, I would definitely. I don't know necessarily about Percival or Fenna or even Olsen Bacher because she spent a lot of her time off world. But uh, Novak, who is an old cop, an older cop. He's been on the force 19 years or something like that. He certainly would say that Terry looks like Tyrell from his memory of Tyrell because Tyrell's been dead for 18 years. About the time that Novak came on the force. So yeah, he would definitely say Terry looks like Tyrell.
it makes me wonder if all of us and Nexus Nines were patterned after somebody rather than created from scratch. Um, Although so-called people created from scratch around the world today have doppelgangers everywhere, right? There are people that look like you somewhere. Um, at any rate, you might want to ask him in his time working with Lilith and working at the lab, has he noticed that other Nexus Nines that are there for recalibration or initial memories or whatever look like any famous people or people that he would know? That's another way of starting to pull on that thread. Is he aware? Is he aware of who he looks like, and is he aware that there are other Nexus Nines that look like famous humans? And start pulling on that thread a little bit. Ask him if Lilith has ever discussed with him his inception and his memories. Just, I don't know, find a way to dig at him.
We do that.
I don't know what else to do while I'm waiting. You guys have to do something while I'm getting this tech information. By the way, I have a question about game mechanics.
Okay.
If we end up using this shift and not doing downtime, when does the increase in stress occur? At the end of the shift or during the shift?
No, at the end of the shift
At the end of the shift before the
when the
tomorrow
next
morning.
shift starts. Yeah.
All right. And when I look at my character sheet, that means it affects resolve.
Correct. And the way the character sheet works is it counts down. So whatever you're at now, you would remove one from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
so all right. So yeah, Tyrell or Tyrell Terry. looks at the, and I imagine it's the three of you because Novak's not going to look over Percival's shoulder while he is going through a computer system. Novak has very little skill or interest in that. So as you guys approach Terry, he asks you, "Do you have further questions, detectives? How can I be of help?"
We have a few follow up questions for you, Mister
Terry.
Mister Terry.
It was just Terry. I don't actually have a last name. How can I be of assistance?
Well, we're wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your incept date and how you came to work where you're working now.
Oh, um, I can sure. My incept date is shit. I just had it. Is 12 February 2036.
How does that compare to our girl?
Like Leah was for July of 2036,
Okay.
and for example, Sandor, who is the one that you guys believe Leah shot and killed in the snake pit, he was 17 February 2037. I don't know what Fenna's and Percival's are right off the top of my head, but
No problem.
okay.
And you were saying?
Oh, yes, 12 February 2036, and uh, well, I was actually made specifically for uh, Lilith Tyrell. She requested that Wallace produce me in the image of her uncle, whom she loved very much and lost at a young age. Um, uh, and I don't know the particulars of the arrangement. Obviously, Lilith doesn't didn't work for Wallace Corporation, but I do understand that uh, there were some additional considerations in that arrangement. I'm not privy to the business side of it, but
Is that something that happens a lot around here?
um, not that I'm aware of, Detective. Honestly, I don't have much interaction directly with Wallace.
Have you heard of cases where other replicants were made in the image of real people?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And what were your duties here?
Oh, simple reception work, scheduling appointments, administrative assistant to Miss Tyrell, of course. I made sure her days were planned out, and she knew what she had on her itineraries in terms of business meetings or anything along those lines. And I interacted with her daughter some, helped her with homework or tutoring or whatever she needed.
Oh shit, guys, this is awkward, but I have to step away for a few minutes. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I'll be back as soon as I possibly can.
Okay.
Sorry.
And so, what are your thoughts on her daughter?
Um, Sarah is she's a very intelligent young lady. I'm not sure what else you're asking. I certainly hope you find her, and I hope she's all right.
And is there anything that comes to mind that, as insignificant as it could be, anything that you think that could help us find Sarah? Because currently she's abducted, and we are, to be honest, concerned for her life.
I certainly wouldn't know where to begin. I'm assuming that I'm assuming it was that replicant that came into the office that that knocked me unconscious that you believe took her. I believe she was here for a recalibration some time ago.
Um, j- and just trying to get a feel for everything. Do you know anything about Rachel?
Um, I I don't. I'm sorry. Sorry, I got distracted. I don't know who Rachel is. Who are you? Who is Rachel?
Uh, she was one of the older models created a while ago. We just thought there might be a connection there.
I'm not. I'm not familiar with Rachel. I'm sorry.
And so you say that this mm, Nexus 9 model came in and did she talk to you, or how did she manage to get you unconscious?
Well, I'm an administrative model. I'm not a combat model. And she came in. She had a gun, um, and she screamed at me. She was very agitated. She screamed at me, asking for her daughter. And I told her that she was in the wrong place, that she needed to calm down. And anything I attempted to say to her, I was met with her screaming back at me. Uh, uh, Eventually, after maybe a minute of this and her being apparently unable or incapable of calming down, she hit me on the side of the head with the butt of her gun. Uh, First one dazed me. A couple more hits, and I don't remember anything.
And what time was this?
He looks at the time and he says it was a few hours ago. And I believe the time question was answered last time. I'd have to go back and check, but I believe the time question was answered. It seemed that it happened probably about a half hour before you guys showed up.
And sorry, I believe Lilith's file said something about her having a special interest in Leah, the Nexus 9, and there was some kind of relationship between the two of them. Do you know anything about that?
I can't say I do. I apologize.
And have you had any interaction with the Nexus Underground?
No.
Have they ever targeted the lab, or well,
Um,
I believe Lilith was targeted by them more than once to try and solicit some support?
I know there was an incident with her and the replicants some years ago, but nothing since the lab has been open. We've not had any trouble like that here.
Guys, I have to apologize a little bit. I'm having like a medical issue this morning, so I may be in, out for a little while. I took medication, but it's not kicked in yet.
Okay, are you all right?
So yeah, I'm fine. I'm just uncomfortable. It's no big deal, but I apologize because it's not like normal. So,
Okay,
but I'm here right now.
okay.
Is this where we believe him, or do we need to make rolls?
You can make an insight check if you like. Ooh,
You have
no,
no insight.
no
Yeah, let's push
successes.
that button.
Yeah, and you know, Bakker's there. He can certainly make an insight check if he likes. Oh well, yeah. Bacher has two successes. Um,
Good.
Olson, he's ringing dead honest to you.
So he really has nothing to contribute.
No, there's no hesitation in his answers. There's no major vocal inflection, no head movements, no pupil dilation. There's just nothing at all to indicate that he's not being completely forthright.
And I wasn't obviously here when Bob was talking to him, but did he have anything to say about having seen Leah before, perhaps, or anything like that?
He
Or seen Lilith
recognized
with
her
Leah?
from he recognized Leah from when she came in for recalibration, but beyond that, no.
Is there a file of that recalibration process somewhere?
Oh, yeah, it's certainly in Leah's files or Lilith's files, which Percival's probably going through now. And of course, you guys have a record of the recalibration from her police file.
And Lilith lived on site, right?
Correct. Yeah, her apartment is attached to the lab building.
So we'll just rip that apart basically and see if we can find anything.
Sure.
Maybe she's got a secret diary somewhere or stashed behind the cupboard or that kind of thing. Anything that could show or indicate that perhaps she was indeed supporting the underground or something like that.
Okay. Um. All right. So while all that's going on, Percival, Lilith's security on her computer system, it was certainly admirable, but nothing for your impressive skills. And in terms of specifically, you were looking for mentions of Leah, and there's a number of those. Obviously, when she came in for recalibration, she does briefly talk about the recal process, um, and it prior to that, there is discussion of, or there's a statement of her making Leah's key memory back in June of last year, which her incept date was for July 36. So obviously, the memory implant is probably the last part of that process. But there's, hold on, sorry, spam call. But there is mention of a couple months before that where she went to Wallace Corporation to undergo scans and testing for the Templant process, which
Templant.
Templant, yeah, which she explains the Templant process as a new process that Wallace Corporation is experimenting with, that she was a part of and she agreed to as part of repayment for them making her Terry. And it is a process by which they base a Nexus 9 replicant directly off of a living person. So she is, uh, Leah, who is basically designed to look like she was Lilith in her late 20s. And they also, of course, had her had Lilith design the memory implant for Leah as well, which we already knew that, but And then as far as Fenna's thoughts of tearing the apartment apart, looking for any, there's really nothing. Uh, Lilith's apartment is very Spartan, very organized. There's really not much in the way of personal effects. Um, you get the impression, uh, with a little more looking and some discussion amongst you, maybe Percival looking back through, you get the impression that Lilith was not really a fan of the replicant resistance movement. She's not she's not against replicants by any means, but she definitely understands and recognizes and supports the need to control replicants, and hence probably her theories on using traumatic memories to control them. She does also mention that while the for the memory implant for Leah, while her daughter Sarah was not a pattern for the little girl slash daughter in Leah's memory, she can't help but notice that there are some similarities which were probably subconscious on her part. She's very she's very detached and clinical about it.
Someone stay cold. Um,
Right, so it's even worse than we basically thought. Leah is potentially a semi-secret experimental version that has gone wrong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody would love to keep that a secret.
well, and it might be. Well, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure that first of all, I don't think it does the Nexus 8s any good. The ones that are the resistance. I don't know if it does them any good if word is out that a replicant killed somebody and that replicants are killing people on Earth. That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help Wallace for sure. Excuse me. Doesn't help Wallace for sure. But the idea that she is experimental, maybe there's an issue. If you base a replicant off a human being, which means that therefore a lot of their DNA is similar, maybe that means that the process they use in setting up the memories and the trauma and memories that control replicants doesn't work right. In other words, it worked right on replicants and the way replicants were designed, but when you design a replicant like a human, maybe traumas like that, all they do is mess up a human type mind. Maybe that's their problem is all right, so what we've got is we've got an experiment that's gone awry. She likely has killed people. It looks like she's abducted this um, Sarah, Lilith's daughter, because of simply the resemblance and the age of the daughter. Probably she's convinced herself that it's her daughter. On the other hand, her memory shows that her daughter was killed, which causes a conflict. And, let's face it, most people try and rationalize and don't want to believe bad things. They can compartmentalize them and stuff. So I'm not a psychologist, but this is all adding up. The problem we have now is we're still in a position where we have to find out where, where is
Yeah,
she?
and I
Where is this moon bus going to pick her up? I'm assuming she's going to Acadia, so that leads me to a different question. Um, um, I don't know the game mechanics, or I don't know. I um, Hachi, I don't know if how common knowledge it is that how interstellar transports work. So I'm just going to ask a couple questions, and if my character would know, you can let me know. If not, I can go on Esper and try and figure it out. But
Okay.
um, I'm assuming there's a lot of traffic off the planet going to various satellites, going to the moon, connecting up with ships that are going places.
Surely.
Okay. My question is that there aren't that many off-world colonies, right? Aren't
Right.
there two handfuls max?
Yeah, probably.
So is it generally? I would expect it would be common practice for um, a transport to Acadia. Is it Arcadia or Acadia? Let me look
Um,
it up here.
yeah, it's on the handout.
Yeah, um,
Arcadia.
Arcade. There it is, Arcadia. Yeah, you were a little faster than me. Um, so would it be general practice that ships that are going to Arcadia or to a particular off-world have filed some kind of flight plan, and it's known that's where they're going and when they're leaving orbit?
As a general rule, but there's a pretty. It's also probably generally well known that there's a lot of smuggling going on.
Yeah, well, I would understand that. Um, so my question would be that if I can at least go on the computer and look for any transports in orbit that would be have a plan filed for Arcadia in the next couple days, next day or two.
You could certainly do that. Not from where you are. I think you would need the LAPD mainframe for that.
Right, that's what I thought. But I could scan and take a look.
You could.
All right. Now,
and
I have one other question, and it's about the map. We have this old we have this postcard that shows the old Hollywood sign, right?
Right.
So my comment is, I'd be a little surprised if in this murky Los Angeles that's always raining and covered in smog and nasty, it seems like that that sign would still exist. But if I look at the Los Angeles map, where if it exists, where does it exist? If it used to exist and doesn't anymore,
No,
where would
it
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 be?
it does exist. It is way off to the west of Sector 5.
Sector 5. I'm looking at my.
Sector 5 is kind of dead center in the middle of the map.
Oh, all right, there. I see Sector 5. Good. So it's way off to the west.
Yeah.
So is it off the map?
It is. It's basically off the map. Correct.
Okay.
It would take you a good time to get there. A good
Oh,
amount of time to get there.
I'm not thinking about getting there yet. I'm just asking.
Gotcha. Bob, did you have a question?
just in case we haven't explicitly stated it, a all points bulletin or whatever you call it on Sarah. So if anybody sees her,
Oh,
that kind of thing, and if there's any way to have any of the cameras, automatically
an Amber
notify
Alert.
us when we see Sarah.
All right. So let's talk about that for a second. As you guys are continuing to noodle through this a little bit, um, you hear a voice which makes you go shit as Deputy Holden comes striding in, and he comes right up to the group of you and says, "Well, this is fucking perfect, isn't it? So not only have you not found our missing Blade Runner, it looks like she has killed a very high-profile scientist. Is that about what I'm picking up here?
Yes,
It
sir.
it appears that way. Yes.
So how do I not rate this as just a complete and total fuck up by the four of you?
We
That's what
still
I thought
have.
the answer was. So, what what's the next step, folks? What are we going to do now?
Well, unfortunately, we've.
Everybody lose a promotion point, by the way, if you have any.
Well, let me pull up my sheet.
It's all the way at the bottom.
What happens when we get to zero?
When you get to zero,
Because I've been at zero, so
you
I
pretty
don't know
much
what
have
happens.
no pull whatsoever.
Okay.
All right. So,
It's also a form of it's a form of experience in the game as well.
all right. Well, I'm going to tell Holden. Holden, basically, our problem is that we have figured out a fair amount of motive. That she is basically malfunctioning. That
Wow,
she
it took
was
you
an.
2 days to figure that out.
No, we know she's malfunctioning, but we didn't understand why a Nexus 9 could malfunction, and now we do. It turns out that she was part of an experimental program. I looked in Lilith's files and found it's an experimental program. She was patterned after a living person, after Lilith herself. And it looks like the process of implanting memories and the trauma of those memories rather than controlling, because of the similarity to the human DNA, is probably causing her to have psychotic breaks. She's basically crazy, if you want to use a layman's term. So uh, that leads us to why things are happening. It doesn't tell us what to do next. Now, the Nexus 8 Underground is helping her simply because she's a replicant. Just because she's a replicant. They don't care if she's a 9 or an 8. They just don't care. Um, and we've wrung that towel dry uh, with our leads so far. We know she's, as you know, we know that she's scheduled to leave tomorrow on some kind of moon bus tomorrow morning, but we still don't know where it's picking her up. We don't know who's helping her.
Do you have any leads on that whatsoever?
It doesn't feel like it. What we have is that it looks like she wants to go to Arcadia, that she plans to go to Arcadia. Arcadia seems to match her view of how wonderful life could be. So we know that my next my next chance was to see my next step was to see if there are any transports going to Arcadia in the next few days that she might be smuggled onto. But doesn't help us if there are ships up there that are basically smugglers and haven't filed any flight plans. If we could find out, that, then maybe that will give us a clue as to where this moon bus will try and pick her up tomorrow.
And I guess if possible on that, I know it's a bit of a wide net, but if we can find a list or a kind of information sheet on any ships that are capable to be used as a moon bus, and that would be a good start. And then we found this, and I showed him the Hollywood, you know, postcard, but we are unsure where exactly this leads to.
Where did you find this Hollywood postcard? How is this postcard connected? Where did you find it?
The Nexus 8s had a safe house where they were keeping Leah. She left before we could get there, but we found that there with the references to Arcadia and some other information. A copy of a poem that she liked that basically was a page from a book that was in her apartment, so we know she was there. And we have testimony from uh, some Nexus 8s that know she was there, but she wasn't there by the time we got there.
So, if I understand you correctly, a Nexus 9 replicant who was incepted last year, who you believe is an experimental model, who you believe has gone crazy, who is on the police force and we believe has murdered a Blade Runner and now a high profile scientist, we think is going to be on a moon bus tomorrow morning to escape Earth and go to Arcadia, possibly by smugglers,
With
and the,
Lilith Tyrell's daughter.
with Lilith Tyrell's daughter, because let's be blunt, if she wanted Lilith Tyrell's daughter dead, she'd have shot her here along with Lilith Tyrell. And the only connection that we have whatsoever that we can't really identify is a postcard of the Hollywood sign.
Well, sir, if you put it like that.
So here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to have. I think Novak's got the highest connections of anybody, so I'm going to have Novak run connections. All right, and he has a success, so I'm going to let that work, and it costs him his last promotion point. He says, "Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to headquarters, and I am going to put out the APB on Sarah. I am also going to um, cast that net over what is possibly the thinnest of leads whatsoever, the idea that she's on her way to Arcadia. And the reason I call it thin is because, let's be blunt, if there is, in fact, this great secret replicant underground which is aiding and abetting replicants to get them off of Earth and to keep them away from the authorities no matter what crimes they've committed, I highly doubt that any such ship is going to be registered in any way, shape, or form. But I'm going to do that for you. Meanwhile, I don't think we have many other options except for the four of you to go to the Hollywood sign
Well, yeah.
and see if that moon bus just happens to show up there, because I don't know what else to tell you to do. Except that I know that from what you're telling me, that somewhere in the next 6 to 12 hours, one way or the other, this case is going to be ended. And even if you guys succeed in ending this case, I wouldn't exactly call a phenomenal success. So that's what I have to add to the matter. You you guys, my top detectives in the Rep Detect unit, have a good evening, and I expect to hear from you tomorrow morning. And he, with a flourish of a camel trench coat, turns and walks out of the memory lab.
You know, guys, he didn't even blink when we said this was an experiment by Wallace.
Maybe he's in on it.
Or maybe he just doesn't want to discuss that. He wants to pretend that he didn't hear that. Those guys have some real pull, don't they? Of
Or
course, they made
maybe he's in the office eating his antacids right now.
um, I would say
half
that.
half double shot, half Pepto Bismol, half whiskey.
All right. So I think that for our own well-being, at least for now, we have an understand of why things are occurring, but let's just keep it to us. There's no sense talking about Wallace having replicants going rogue
Correct.
because of something they did. That's just going to be bad for us for now. Let's since it's the only lead we have left. I mean, before he even came, let's face it, it was the only lead that was left. All I was going to do some stuff on the computer, but it's that postcard's what it is. So I guess we should get on out there and see what we can see. Who's driving?
Well, hopefully the cars are driving themselves in this day and age because none of us can.
I find it interesting that all your characters have a driving skill of D. They obviously didn't really expect that to be a major issue. Um,
Well, I guess it's more as well a we are detectives. We are not,
I think
you know,
it's. I think we're perfectly
response
fine
unit.
driving ourselves around the city. It's just if there's a chase or something, we'd be in trouble.
yeah, yeah.
If we have to evade somebody, our
The other,
main form of evasion is crashing into something and dying.
the other thing that I am curious about, and I meant to investigate this before and I never did, that's why I'm crawling around in the book right now. The okay. I got it. I got it. So you guys know how the character sheet driving is above empathy and it doesn't seem to be attached to any of your main attributes like the other skills?
Yep.
It's because your driving skill is actually attached for dice rolls to the maneuverability statistic of the vehicle you're driving.
Yes.
I
Oh,
I didn't realize that, and it hadn't come up in this game, but I imagine it will at some point in future games because they did. Free League has made the point of saying that this case file um, is part of an ongoing campaign. So
okay. So you're saying that because our driving skill is all D, it's because of the spinners that we are attached to.
correct. So your like the spinner has a maneuverability of C. So when you actually roll when you actually had to make a driving roll, you would roll your D skill and the maneuverability C of the vehicle, which would give you a D6 and a D8. In fact, I'm going to try something right now. Oh no, that's not what I meant to do. Oh shit! When you go and screw everything up. There we go. So I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to. I don't know who I'm on. I'm on Novak, who has a D
Okay.
driving, and his spinner has a C maneuverability. And if I click that, it rolled two dice. It rolled a D8 and it rolled the D6 from his character sheet. So it works.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
it's
Cool.
nice when integration does what it's supposed to do.
So we're just bad drivers.
You're
Still.
just bad drivers. That's all there is to it.
And we have crappy spinners.
And well, I mean, they're standard
We have
detective issue.
standard, standard, standard Ford model.
Unlimited, unlimited technology from around the galaxy, and we cruise around in a Ford POS.
POS. Okay, so all right, well, let's get on with it. Let's get out there.
And I think,
Unless you think there's anything else we're missing, because
yep.
there's not even anybody we can apprehend to talk to. There's there's not anybody left, is there?
What you got, Fenna?
No, I'm just wondering if I need to go and visit Styles again, but then on retrospect, I believe everything he was saying, etc. So I'm not sure there's really a reason to go and ask him about the um, underground or how to contact them again.
Yeah, I guess the question is how long does it take to get to this Hollywood sign? If it turns out leading us, maybe it's not the pickup point, but what if it leads us to the pickup point? If you went back to talk to Styles, based on how much time is in the shift, would you have time to go there, talk to Styles, and then meet us at the Hollywood sign? I bet we don't have that much time.
No, it's going to take you hours to get to the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, so we just got to get on with it. This is it. This is it. Are we locked and loaded? You guys have weapons and stuff. Somehow, if this does lead us to the pickup, I find it hard to believe that a bunch of resistance fighters are going to let us just waltz in and apprehend her.
Time to put on our vests.
We grab anything and everything we can.
Well,
Kitchen sink is in the boot.
Do we have in our spinners? Do we have any access to body armor or anything like that?
no, you'd have to requisition all that from
And we
LAPD.
and we haven't. And that would yeah, that, of course.
Yeah, just hear that GM laugh. Says everything.
Okay, let's get on with it. Dun dun dun.
So as you all pile into the spinner, leaving the uniformed cops and a couple techs from Rep Detect Unit to finish cleaning up and throw the dead body in the meat wagon and all that, you begin flying across the city.
Yeah, Fena goes to say hi to the beat cops and walks away with coffee and donuts for the team.
Coffee and donuts.
Make a manipulation roll, Fenna.
If manipulation fails, I might have to make a steel roll.
Ah, no. You you flash your smile and whatever credentials that may be, and and yeah, no, it's not a problem. Um, as you guys cross the city, the the night is beginning to lighten. The rain is lifting a bit. It's just turning into, of course, flying through the air. It feels like you're still your spinner's flying through quite a bit of it, but you know that when you get out, it's going to be just a very light drizzle. Um, the
Does it always rain in Los Angeles?
It does in this universe. The Hollywood sign is, of course, on Mount Lee, overlooking the city, and Mount Lee Drive runs right below it, and it's there's definitely some places that you can put if you want to. It depends on where you want to land. I'm going to show you the map, hopefully.
Okay. Because the key, guys, is that if this is the pickup point, and it's not clear that it is, but if it's the pickup point, we don't want them to know we're staked out.
Do you guys see anything? Do you guys see a map?
I see a map. I'm trying to get it to the
Affirmative.
right size. There we go.
I don't know if it has dynamic lighting on it. It does not. So you should be able
No.
to see it. All right, good. Um,
Well, I
sorry.
guess
Go ahead.
out of character, we've got a whole map for it. So either somebody was very bored and eating up, too much project time by making a map of a red herring, or we are where we should be.
I will say there are plenty of other maps that we did not use because it was just like, why do I have a map of this? I mean, it just there. I mean, I guess from the standpoint of putting the players always guessing as to whether or not something important's supposed to happen here, but I mean, I had maps of things that I'm just like, why? There's nothing to occur here except maybe talking to somebody.
All
Um,
right.
so,
So
from the
those,
standpoint of landing a spinner, well, how are you guys approaching this? You're generally speaking you're approaching from the east, but you're flying a car, so you can come at it from any direction you want. You've got Mount Lee, and ignore the small text on the map. I don't know why they did that because it really only occurs in certain cases. But there's the Mount Lee Drive, and then there's a large parking lot and old tourist attraction. That's what you see in the southeastern corner of the map down there. That's all defunct. It's old and unused and overgrown.
The
Um,
parking lot.
yeah.
And are those gray things buildings?
Down in the parking lot. Yeah.
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 Well, here's the point. I'm looking at the terrain, and it's a mountain. Well, it's not a. They call it Mount Lee, but I don't know the elevation. To be a mountain, technically, I think you have to be above 1,000 feet. But um, and that's not above sea level. For here, it's above sea level. But blah blah blah. What I'm trying to say is they got to land a shuttle that's going to hold a bunch of people and go up into orbit. So they need a relatively flat place to land, which that looks like the parking lot. Don't you think? The overgrown parking lot is the place to land.
Probably,
Because if I look at these
potentially.
elevation contours, it's I don't see a flat spot around other than the parking lot.
No. And as far as the elevation contours are concerned, there's certainly enough flat-ish spots that you guys could bring a spinner down.
Yeah, because we're little.
Yeah, you're the size of a car, so
So I'd say
an American car, not a European car. European cars are small.
we need to land and try and keep the spinners out of sight. We can
Yes.
we can hoof it. We can
Okay.
so
So
Yes.
which direction do you guys want to land the spinners to be, and then like you said, hoof it your way up?
well, it looks to me that the peak, I'm just looking at the contour lines, but the peak appears to be very close to where the if you look at the Mount Lee sign and go down and to the left just a little bit, it looks like that contour might be right near the peak. Let me look at the yeah. Let me look at the picture of the Hollywood uh,
I believe,
postcard.
I believe, and um,
Yeah, the peak is if you look at the Hollywood sign from the west, the peak is up and behind the Y.
yeah, right about where I'm pinging the map.
Oh, ping it again. Oh,
I'm ballparking right in that area right there.
um, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, HOLLY, so it should be. Now this might be a little off angle. This might
No,
be a.
but is this map pointed north?
I'm assuming it's
Well, right. So
HOLLY
if it's
would.
if it's so if it's pointed north, that means if the postcard is looking from the west,
Correct.
which means that if you look at the postcard, that means a H
Looking
O
from the
L L.
east.
No, no, the postcard is viewing from the west, right? Doesn't Hollywood?
Well,
Does Hollywood
if
face?
this is the D, and assuming the D is at the north end, then you would have to be on the
Oh,
eastern
all right.
side
Well,
of the sign.
that's a question I've never understood about the Hollywood sign.
Right. But
Is
in the
Hollywood
bigger scheme of things, does it matter?
all right? I
Yeah.
just wondered if Hollywood faces out towards the ocean or if it faces towards the city.
I think it faces towards the city, but
Okay. Regardless,
Yeah.
all I'm looking for is we want to set down in a place.
So from the Hollywood sign itself, can we walk to where we want to be?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So perhaps come in from the opposite side of the parking lot, go park behind the Hollywood sign, and then walk our way to where we would think they would typically land.
Right. Maybe stay up on the ridge a little bit. Stay up on the ridge
Yes.
a little bit from the parking lot and stay in the scrub and just watch.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, come in low, as quiet as possible. You know, do all the things to be stealthy. land at the sign and then try and get high ground and get a bird's eye view of where we think they would be. And then also keep an eye on the sky because cars fly in this day and age.
Yeah, sure. All right, that absolutely works. So, let me ask you this: Who are you guys in one spinner, or are you in two?
We never figured that out, but I figure if we're going to apprehend somebody, we probably need
Would
two.
need two,
We've
right?
been
Because the spinner
usually
holds
doing
four.
two, so we could throw perps around in the
So,
back.
who's driving, and who's with who? I imagine, I'm going to be very honest. I imagine Novak is always driving his spinner because he's, on the force 19 years and he's just going to drive, and that's all there is to it. So I guess it's a question of who's with Novak and then who's driving the other car.
Well, Novak and Bacher have been hanging out most of the time, right?
Generally.
Yeah, but do you want
Yeah,
your humans in one car? How would that look? I would think normal rides would be one human, one Nexus.
Why would that be?
Just imagine how it would look if the humans keep on sticking together and the robots keep on sticking together. It would not sit well
With whom?
Well, I don't think
with any
Novak
crowd
would.
that
I don't.
knows.
I don't think Novak would give a shit about that because he's not really fond of replicants anyway. But Bacher might be concerned about that. Bacher is kind of replicant friendly, isn't she?
yes, she is.
All right, I don't care. Someone just pick. All right, Percival's with Percival's with shit.
With Novak.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Novak probably doesn't say a word to you the whole time, I imagine.
That's fine. I can doze off while he's driving.
So as you guys are so who's driving the other car, Fenna or Bacher?
We're both at the same score, don't we?
Yeah, you're both D's.
Yep.
I got to step away for a minute. I'll be back. Figure out who's driving and get the cars parked, would
Well,
you?
you better drive, Bob. I have 0 promotion points. If I damp the fender, I'm fired.
Ah, same.
Hey,
But
Percival,
yeah,
before you walk
Finna will
away.
drive. Why not?
Okay, that's perfect. Percival, before you walk away, make an observation roll for me. And Fenna's driving, so Bacher, if you'd make an observation roll. Bacher got a success. I think Percival got away before I could say anything. That's okay. Um, so as you guys are as you said coming in low, coming up behind the sign, and finding a place to put your spinners down, Bacher, you as you're looking out the window through the rain and in the early morning light, you saw for just a moment you saw a hint of movement at the base of the sign, and as you look a little more closely, and it's hard to see because it's still pretty dark, and the way the sun is rising, the sign kind of shields it, but there are throngs of people, dozens, that are kind of hunched down and hiding around the base of the Hollywood sign.
Oh, wow. Bob, or Fenna, check it out.
Finna takes a look.
Yeah, I'm gonna just
How do we want to play this? We call for backup
Uh,
and roust them all, or we just go in there and look for our one target and
like
the rest of them
I
can go?
guess the first comment would be enhance.
and I
Yeah,
just made Percival's roll for him, and he
yeah.
spotted them too.
Are they just vagrants or are they a crack
I'm going to
mystery
assume that
team?
there are people looking for a lift, but maybe it is a tent city for homeless people or something.
But yeah, if they're close to the Hollywood sign, that would force us to land even further. I don't want to spook anybody.
Bacher
So
comes over the radio and says,
Well, if we see
not
them, they see
Bacher, you're
us.
Bacher, I'm sorry, Novak comes over the radio and says, are you guys seeing this?
Yeah,
yep,
affirmative.
lots of movement. I do suggest that we land even further away. Hope that they haven't spotted us. I am hesitant to spook people that might be waiting for a lift. Also, we don't know what kind of firepower is down there. Hopefully, nothing, but I'd
Can we
rather be.
identify any of them? Like, is it
Not at
possible
this
to?
distance.
No.
Yeah. Um, Bacher says, "Yeah, I agree. Let's set down. Let's get low and set down behind the peak and come up over the mountain. Um, see if we can see what we're dealing with." So you guys, so that's what. No, I may have said Bacher again. I meant Novak. I apologize. And that's what Novak does. He hovers the spinner as low to the ground as he can, and he kind of cuts a little further west and finds a flat spot and sets down where he should have been out of view because the Hollywood sign's partially down the other side of the mountain. So he's hoping that none of these people saw you guys as you pulled in. And he pops his door, pulls his weapon and checks it, and kind of looks at the rest of you and said, I guess we're going up."
Guess so.
Um, he says he says you guys might want to have your weapons ready. And he starts making his way up. It's rocky. It's certainly not climbing a cliff, but it's not just walking up a gentle hill either. And as he nears the top, Novak Novak hunches down, I guess, probably trying to keep himself from being directly seen. And if that's the plan, if you guys are trying to avoid remaining seen, if I can get a stealth roll from everybody.
Ooh, I don't know if I've rolled one of these yet.
I don't think any of you have.
Cool.
Oh shit!
Do something new.
Wow. Novak is going to push his roll. Um,
Fena pushed.
Fenna pushed and got two successes. In fact, um, there we go. Novak pushed and got a success. Percival had two successes. Um, did Crom step or did Sharif step away for a second?
Yep.
He did. All right, I'll roll his for him as soon as I can find his character sheet.
Is
Okay.
it morning, by the way?
A very early morning, yes.
So we
So everybody took a point of stress.
Okay, let me do that. So resolve goes down, right?
Down, correct. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to push for. I'm assuming Sharif would want me to push for him, so that's what I'm going to do. And no successes.
Right, so he's the decoy, and we're all far away from him.
All right, I gotta drop Novak's resolve 1, 2. Okay, very good. Um, so as you guys make it to the summit, you're all being very sneaky and stealthy, and everything's going just fine. And looking down, there's probably 3 dozen people down there, and they're all, like I said, they're all huddled around the Hollywood sign. Um, there's uh, there's there's no fire. There are fires for heat. There's no light. There's no nothing. They're obviously trying to remain unseen. Um, as you guys are very conscious of trying to remain unseen, uh, and you reach that summit and you're looking down. Olson slips and dislodges some rocks that go, bumbling their way down the mountain, catching the attention of a number of people down below.
That old chestnut.
Um,
So,
Bacher says shit, or
um,
Novak says shit. Way to go.
quick question:
Yeah.
how do these people look? Are they well dressed, dirty?
That is a good question. And if you like, you can make an observation roll, and I'll give you any specifics you want.
And Fenner will whisper to Percival, "Hey, Percival, can you have a look at how they look and what the demeanor is?"
Fenna had a success anyway, so Fenna's fine. They are obviously at this distance you can't tell if they're human or replicant. Um, but in general, they're not in bad shape. These aren't they don't by any means look like refugees from a war torn country, or they don't even look like street urchins for that matter. Most of them are most of them look fairly clean, maybe somewhat wilted and damp from being in the rain for an unknown amount of time. But there's a variety of clothing. There's a man in a suit. There's people wearing just normal clothes. There's really nothing that would discern.
I'm gonna
Um,
I'm gonna ask the obvious question.
mm,
Are there children?
well, it's funny as
Small human beings, I guess.
as you continue to scan over them, um, everybody seems to be an adult. Um, However, as those rocks go tumbling down, and there's a couple people pointing up at Bacher. Um, One person emerges from behind a few others, and it's Leah, and she has with her a small child. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to. Oh, wow, that's small. We might have to do some zooming in, because that is small.
I what am I? Hold on a second. What are we looking
I'm,
for?
I'm dragging you
Oh,
guys over to the map, is what I'm doing. I'm dragging your icons over.
oh, I see.
Oh, it's in scale. That's kind of cool, though.
And where's Bacher? There's Bacher. Bacher, as you guys stealthily went up to the peak, you failed your stealth roll and you dislodged a bunch of rocks, so you got spotted. But there's about 3 dozen people down gathered around the L, Y, and W signs, including who you've been after. Good old Leah's down there. Do I have a thing for Leah? Can I
I don't
use
know.
that?
Do you?
No, they didn't provide me a. No, they didn't provide me a token for Leah. Well, that's a little
So
disappointing.
sad. The gym doesn't have a thing for Leah.
Um, well, shoot. Yeah, I don't have a token for Leah. That seems like an oversight. Or if I do, I don't know where it is. Oh well, not going to worry about it too much. Um, so as they're pointing, and there's some whispers and some mumbles and some talking amongst them. There's a sound, and kind of a emanating from the sky, and you see piercing the cloud cover a large vehicle. It is You would all recognize it. It's a C-62 Jupiter class moon bus, and it came in quickly at first, and I cannot get this thing. I'm having some technical difficulties here. I'm sorry. There we go. Something dropped down on my roll 20, and I couldn't make it go away. Um, it passes overhead, and it's hovering itself down towards exactly where you guys expected, down here in the parking lot.
Is it a transport only, or does it have weapons?
No, uh, certainly you would know a C-62 Jupiter class doesn't have weapons, at least
Okay.
nothing that from the factory. And yeah, you don't see anything to indicate that it does have weapons. Um,
So I have a question.
okay.
So, and I guess this is a little bit out of character. So, see what the others think as well. Um, I'm toying with the idea of when Barker failed the stealth check to kind of just Fena dirty her face a little bit and then kind of duck Barker down, and then Fena just gets up and pretends to be a runaway replicant and goes and joins the replicants, and will have the Hollywood sign postcard with her. When she gets down there, she'll just be all scared and stuff and show them the postcard and pretend to be one of the replicants waiting for the moon bus. Thoughts on that?
I think it's pretty ballsy. Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Right, so,
What could we
yeah.
help? Like shoot over your head or something like that?
Well, I'm just hoping they saw something, making a sound. So if you go down, I stand up. I'll leave my badge and stuff with you guys. Tuck my weapon in somewhere where it's a bit harder to see. And then I'll just go down all scared and stuff and pretend to be just running late replicant here for the moon bus. And as soon as I get to the crowd, I'll kind of show them the Hollywood, postcard, and I'm here. I'm late. Sorry, but I was almost chased by some radicals, and I made it safely. Yay! I'm with you guys. And then just make
Well,
sure
the other
or try
problem
my
is
best.
we need to stop Leah before she gets on that bus, though. Somehow.
Well,
Yes. Well, that's kind of
well, if
a
you're
bit
going to run,
closer to her.
all right, if you're going to run down there, then it's the three of us are left up here. But they only know they don't. Did they see us all, or did they just see Olson?
They
They saw
just
the rocks.
they saw the rocks and caught a glimpse of Olson.
Okay, so now
Yep.
Fenna is hustling down there like running away from Olson.
Well, just going down, not even running away from Olsen
I
because
let
they
me
don't
make
know how
I
many
got
are
you.
you.
let me make
I
sure
got
I understand this correctly. What you're thinking is you have Olson hide real quick, and then Fenna pops up as if Fenna was
Yes,
the one they saw.
yes, correct.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Yep.
If
Yeah,
you
it took me a second to figure that out too. So you're just walking down there like it's I'm getting on too.
okay.
Yeah, I'll just kick Olsen's
All right.
shin, and he drops due to the pain, and then I'll stand up, kind of smear some grime in my face, and I'll jog down there and kind of try my best to make sure that Leah doesn't see me,
All right.
but keep an eye on her, and I'll just blend in with the natives.
Well,
Sounds
that
good.
affects my next move. All right. I'm not going to do what I was going to do.
Okay. So
I
let's
was
go ahead.
all right. Well, I would just look over at Olson and say, I mean, yeah, Olson and Novak and say, well, we can keep her on the planet if we can get rid of this moon bus. Do you think they'd fly off if we opened fire on the moon bus? They wouldn't want to take hits. They're just smugglers, right? They're just in it for the money.
Yeah, I
But
imagine they would.
but but now I think it's a little late for that. Now that Fenna's made the move.
No, you can still do that. Fena's main idea was just to get eyes on Leah and get closer to her in case we had to rush.
So let's
Well,
play that.
honestly, it
Go.
might even reinforce Fenna's story because he could say he's being chased by cops.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's play that out for a second. So let me to pull this off. What I'm going to ask is I'm going to ask Olsen Bacher to make a stealth check again. Um.
Coming up,
All right. Any successes? Would you like to push the roll?
I would very much like to push.
Wow.
Oh.
That's 4 whiffs in a row.
So they clearly see Olsen Bacher. It's not even a
Guys, sorry, I
question.
was talking and muted. I did that wrong again. I hit the stupid
Oh,
D6.
you just hit the. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm
Go
supposed
ahead.
to
I'll
hit
let you
D8
re-roll.
and D6, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
All right, okay.
Oh,
What the hell is going on? What did I hit that time? I'm trying. Did I do that one right?
I don't see
I don't
anything.
see another one.
Okay, here, let me try again. All right.
All right. All right. That's fine. And
Sorry, I
then
don't know. If I screw that up once, it's hard to figure out.
I got you. It's all
I'll
good.
fix
Fenna,
it.
make a manipulation roll for us. All right. Success. All right. So Fenna is moving her way down, and she's got her cover story, and with the Hollywood postcard, and as she's coming down, yeah, with her cover story, most of the people are they're just kind of returning back to waiting. They're not they're it seems to make a lot of sense to them because based on what you know of this situation, you don't really have any reason to think that any of them really know who else is going to be there, if that makes sense. Um,
all right. So, guys, while Fenna's going down there, this thing is hovering and slowly landing. They don't know we're here.
correct.
Um, so I'm going to ask the guys. We got a couple options. One, we can try and open up on the moon bus and try and get them to. I mean, I don't know what kind of damage some pistol shots can do. I mean, some blaster shots can do, but um, they're not going to want that damage, and they might take off. But then all the people will scatter. The other option we might have is to keep moving down the hillside, trying to stay undetected, and let some of the people start boarding the moon bus. In other words, I don't know where Leia and the kid will be in this progression, but if they're in the middle to the end, then we could reduce the number of people that could interfere with us if half of them board the moon bus before we make our move to apprehend Leia.
She's pretty smack dab in the middle of the group, um, and as Fenna's kind of blending in, Leah points up at the moon bus and whispers something to the little girl that's with her. The little girl, Fenna, looks scared. Um, Leah's kind of got one hand on her shoulder, type thing, and the little girl's got a backpack on. Um, the As they're watching the moon bus cross overhead and it's getting close to the parking lot, Leah looks directly at you, Fenna, and says, "I know you. You're from the Rep Detect unit, aren't you?"
I'll just look a bit scared and confused and just shake my head and in the affirmative.
She says, "Yeah, it's good you got away. My daughter and I we're leaving too."
Wow.
And she
I,
kind
I,
of she glances over at the moon bus, checking its progress.
Uh, in that case, since we've engaged, I'll just sort of go and stand next to her or close-ish to her, and just keep an eye on her, and then look up to the moon bus as well.
Okay. One of the other people in the crowd calls out. He kind of gets up on top of a piece of cement support for the Hollywood sign, and he calls out and he says, "Everybody, be calm. Just wait. As soon as the bus lands, they'll open the doors, and then we can start going. But everybody needs to walk slowly, stay in line, take your time."
All right, guys. I think we need to. I
You
think we need.
decided we're shooting at it.
No, I don't know.
I think scattering it is not a bad idea because she can't afford to having her jump on there and getting away or something.
True. Um,
A whining sound is you're starting to hear the whining sound of a spinner.
I'm getting my gun out and aiming,
all right.
taking around to aim.
A And then you see you, it comes over the Hollywood sign. It's a black spinner. You're not familiar with the design, and it lands on this flat spot right here.
Well, I was going to say, as it flies over the sign, that's probably when I'd start shooting.
Okay, you're shooting at the bus or at the spinner?
Oh, I guess I didn't catch the difference.
Yeah.
Bus.
We've got a Wallace kill squad basically landing.
Why'd you assume that?
Let,
We got to keep.
let's be honest here.
We got to keep the bus from landing if we can. I'm going to shoot the bus.
The bus too. I mean, that's what I thought I was aiming at. So this spinner is coming in opposite the bus,
Yeah, the spinner is literally coming in from right over the O's and is looking
and
to land right there.
and where's the bus landing?
Ping.
The bus is hovering its way down right here.
I can't see anything.
Okay.
Are you pinging the map?
I am.
Yeah, it's the color of the ping is almost the same value as the parking lot, but if you see where the
Yeah,
parking lot is, the northwest where the Mount Lee
Yeah,
Drive
there's a ping. Okay.
Is there a way to
goes into
change
the
that?
parking lot.
That's
yes.
okay.
Just
I can see it
click
now.
on your color. Click on the color in on your small portrait, and it will pop up a color scheme selector.
Oh, I see.
Ah, hey, look at that. So let's.
You have brown selected. That's the problem.
All right.
Gotcha.
So there we go. So
Okay.
the moon bus is landing there, is hovering its way down.
And the
right
spinner
there.
is.
The spinner is coming over the O's and well, I guess the W and the O, and is looking to land in this flat spot right there.
All right.
Woo!
So let me pull up my sheet.
No, he didn't.
All right. So
Yeah, so I'm going to give everybody a free action.
so it's been a while since we shot. So
Free action. Leah or Fena will look at Leah and point at the black spinner and say, "They found us. Where do we go? What do we do now?"
um, Leah, she's looking at the spinner. Her eyes are really wide. She's kind of shaking her head. She's got a crazy look in her eye, and she reaches into her jacket and pulls out a gun, pulls out a blaster, a 223, and she says, they're not getting me, and they're not getting my daughter."
Should we run? I think we should run.
Um, the guy standing on the cement is saying, "Just everyone be calm. Just wait till the spinner lands." But everyone's getting very, very anxious. I'm just going to start with Percival. Who did you want to shoot at, Percival?
I was going to shoot at the
Ooh, well, let's
at
talk about that.
at.
Hold on. I'm sorry. What's the range on your weapon? What's the max range?
Well, I'm looking on my sheet. Why do I have two entries? I
Because
have
you've got two different styles, two different weapon modes on the weapon.
All right. So I'm looking at this thing. I see mode 1 and mode 2. and all the way. I see. Why does it say short, long, short, medium?
Short is the minimum range of the weapon.
All right,
Long or medium is the max.
all right.
So
So
the
I've got
moon bus
one
is
mode.
long range away.
All right, so I've got one mode that's long range.
Okay. All
So how do I shoot it?
right. You just make a firearms roll.
Firearms. Firearms. All right. I,
All right. You have a success. You can push the roll for additional damage if you like to, or you can just let it sit.
I'll just let it sit.
All right. Very good. Give me one moment to open the dice roller because they don't have this ready for
I'm,
me.
I'm not trying. I'm not trying to take down the moon bus. I'm trying to. I'm hoping that some bullets hitting or blasts, whatever. I'm looking at some hits on this moon bus, scaring those guys away.
Right.
So I don't want to put a whole bunch of damage in it.
Your sonic round pretty much just ricochets right off the thing.
Oh, bummer.
All right. Olsenbacher,
Yes.
who would? What are you shooting at? The moon bus is long range. The spinner, the black spinner, is medium range as it lands.
I mean, I'm not even sure what the black spinner is. You know,
It's a true statement.
It's something that shouldn't be here.
I'll shoot at the bus. We got to really motivate it to leave.
Okay. Now your weapon, you've got the two sonic blast options, but I believe you have a single shot 223 round that does more damage if you wanted to fire that. That's in range, but it's up to you. Whatever you just decide which one you want to do.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at my gun stats. I'm not sure. There's uh there's a shot that does a D12, one that does a D10, and one that does a D6.
Yeah, that's for the critical. The damage is the 2, 1, and 2 number.
Oh, okay.
So what you
And the long range thing you're talking about is the one that says D10.
yes, that's correct.
Okay. Uh, do I just hit those three arrows?
That's an interesting question. Let me see. Oh yeah, that'll work. Yeah, absolutely. Just hit the
Okay.
3 arrows on the one you want to fire. Ignore the roll I made. Ooh, ooh,
Wow.
wow.
Look at you go.
Yeah, she is good with her guns.
She is good with her guns. Um, all right. I did not entirely anticipate this. So, you fire that 223 round now, or 222 round, I guess it is. Yeah, it's a 222. It, just so you're aware, that round is now used. You cannot fire that round again unless you take an action to reload it. Okay.
Roger.
Um, However, you put a round into it, and I need you to critical hit. Okay, I
Does
need
the
you
aim,
to.
the having aim, does that do anything like calling a shot?
I'm gonna have to pull that up.
That doesn't matter. Don't
That's
worry
fine.
about it.
Roll your d12 if you would for the critical. Or is that a d10? That one's a d10. So roll the d10 critical on that, please.
How many extra successes do I put in there?
You had two.
Two extra. Yeah, so
Yeah.
three total, two above and beyond.
You rolled low. You rolled a 4.
Ear torn off, brains blown out.
Yeah. You
What,
uh,
what does that mean?
you
Well,
you've hit the driver of the vehicle. So you put a round through it, and it goes right through the viewport and hits the guy driving the bus. So it starts to as it's hovering down, it starts to jerk crazily in the air, and in the end, it slams down onto the tarmac, or I guess the asphalt, with kind of a rending of metal. Um, uh,
Wow.
Meanwhile, that black spinner has landed, and the doors open up, revealing four guys. Four guys jump out of it. They are all wearing all black.
Of course they are.
They're each carrying an Ender assault rifle.
That's just the
Oh,
Hollywood strip, isn't it?
That,
Wearing all black. Do they have
that's
like
right.
eyeliner on?
Yeah, no, they're wearing masks actually, but
Oh, well, that's
kind of
ridiculous.
tactical masks.
Yeah, it's
Um,
just the day of the week they have to
it's
clean
the
the
Wallace.
Hollywood sign again.
that's
It's
right.
the Wallace. It's the Wallace Ninja.
Yeah,
The goth cleaning crew has arrived.
that's right. They have they're carrying Ender assault rifles, and they're all also armed with 20 gauge shotguns. Though they have the assault rifles out, and at this point, I think we have to go a full fledged initiative. I think that's where we're at.
Okay.
Don't think we really have much choice in the matter. And I didn't have my initiative cards handy, but I do have these guys. Five. Let me.
So Bacher with one shot pretty much ruined the shuttle.
Well, maybe not so much as ruined it, but certainly has put it in a situation where it's just not going to. It's not going to be able to do what it wanted to do.
That's
Well,
why
let me
you
put it
never
this
fly
way.
with your windows open.
That's right.
Yeah.
It certainly can't go into space.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I wouldn't trust if I was one of those people down there. There's no way I'd get on it to go into space.
Give me one moment. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, actually, I wonder if I can just do it this way. Can I do it this way? Shuffle. Shuffle the deck. Let's try it again, just to be sure. I might be making this too hard for me. All right, so where's Novak? There's Novak. I'm going to make him the test subject. Bear with me. Deal. Draw one card. Deal. Must deal card to one player. All right. I thought I did that by selecting his. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm doing. Did it pop anything up?
I don't see anything.
Do you have to open the initiative tracker first?
Maybe.
Did you?
Maybe. That thought crossed my mind. All right. So let me try it again. I'm sorry. We're going to recall. Oh, it looks like it might have dealt it directly into his hand, and I can't see his hand. Shit. All right, hold on, Bacher. I'm dealing you a card. You ready? One card. Deal to Olsenbacher. Deal. We just lost Bacher.
Can you
Oh
hear me?
man.
I hear
Oh,
you. Yeah. Did you get
There's
a
a
card,
number one.
Bacher?
Yeah, I think so. There's a number one over my avatar, and I can
I
click
see a
on it.
number one over the avatar
Should I
too.
click on it?
I don't think you need to. That's fine. Let me. All right. But it looks like it didn't add it to your initiative. Why would it not
So
do
when I
that?
click on it, it says initiative 05.
Initiative 05.
Yeah, and I can drag it out of the box, but it won't stay. I can't display it.
All right. Screw it. This is just complex and doesn't make any sense. We're
I
going to
mean,
do
it's an
this in
initiative
French.
card. It says initiative on it, 05.
Oh, so it's a 5. That's what it is. It's a 5.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Yes, I believe that's what. Yeah, it's a gray card with like the light gray trim. It says initiative on top, and then a big fat number 5 in the middle.
I wonder why, as the GM, it doesn't let me see that.
Yeah, and it comes in like the number one over my head. You click it, it opens like a shadow box type, like a
Yep.
half see-through black box, and then inside of it is the card. And I
Number.
try to drag it out, and it doesn't. Steel
Yeah, and
request.
if I click the one, I can see the initiative card, and I can card steal. Who knows?
Yeah,
Number
I
five
got
is
a
alive.
steel request from Percival, Mighty
No,
VP.
I didn't. I clicked on it by accident.
Okay.
Then I'll say,
I
"No way,
scared.
dude, no way."
They
Oh,
should
I got
have
one from Hachiman.
they
No, you
should have
can't have
given
it.
us instructions as to how this works. Let's do this the old-fashioned way.
Okay.
I got 10 cards here. I'm going to shuffle them up real quick, and then I'm just going to deal them out. All right.
So how do you put the? Can you manually enter the initiatives into the initiative tracker?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Okay.
Let me open this up. They really should have provided instructions on that. That would have made life easy. All right. And 1 second. Well, trying to figure out how to do it. I'm sorry. This interface is just a little different. Is there an initiative button on the character sheet somewhere that you guys see?
No. I've got a pop-up box on my screen. It says right-click a token and choose Add a turn. You can
Oh,
also use
that there we go. I got it.
shortcut Control U.
All right. So Novak is a 4. Got it. Got it. Got it. Percival, you're a 5. Not bad. Olsenbacher, you're a 3. Fenna, you're a 2. I did shuffle these. What the heck? All right, 2. I am going to put Leah on her own card of an 8, and I'm just going to have to remember that because they didn't give me. And then the guys in black are a 9.
Okay.
All right, so let me put this in order. Put it in ascending, and then that puts Fenna first. Fenna, what would you like to do?
Fena is pulling her gun and aiming at one of the guys that jumped out of the black spinner,
Okay.
and I'll just kind of sort of point at them and go, "They shot down the moon bus."
All right. Um,
I like that.
I like that. That's good. Bacher, what would you like to do?
Fucker, I think said BRB.
Oh, did he? Yeah, she did. All right, so we'll come back to her. We'll come back to Bacher. Novak. Um, Novak, I think, is going to move in closer and he is going to take a shot.
When you say closer, closer to what?
He moved in closer to the Hollywood sign in the group of
Gotcha.
people.
Okay.
He is going to take a shot. Oh, okay. Well, he's not yet. Sharif, it's actually your turn.
Okay, thanks.
There we go.
Guess we're gonna shoot at the bad guys. They're shooting at us.
No one's fired yet.
Except
Uh,
except
yeah,
you at the moon bus.
Yeah,
oh no, the guys on the black spinner shot at the moon bus.
yeah, that's what Fenna
Yeah.
shouted.
Oh yeah, you didn't hear that part. Fenna took his turn to pull. Took her turn to pull her weapon, point at the Wallace or point at the black spinner, and say, "They shot down the moon bus."
Oh, excellent.
In fact, I should make Fenna make go. I should have Fenna do a manipulation roll on that actually. So go ahead and make that roll.
Oh, you're spoiling the cinematic moment.
Would you like to? Would you like to push that?
Yep.
All right.
I think that would be the right push.
There you
Oh
go.
my God.
Good one, dude.
So yeah, there's gasps and screams and oh no's and people are starting to mill around, not sure what to do. What would you like
Yep.
to do?
No one's reacted to Leia having her weapon out.
Not
Well,
really. I think there's so much going on right now. It's not no one's
Okay.
really noticing. Olson, what would you like to do?
Um, so they don't look like they're hostile to us. Like they have no interest in us. Do they know we're there?
They
Uh,
don't know we're there.
Well,
I'm just
then
pretty sure that they would want a clean house. Just putting that out there.
It looks like everyone. Hold it. It looks like when you say they're not hostile to us, you mean the spinner guys.
I'm talking about the spinner guys. Yeah,
Okay.
like because we're flanked by them right now.
correct, but they
Yeah.
haven't seen you to your knowledge.
As far as you know.
Yeah.
Is it possible to Overwatch and if they like shoot at us, do like a return fire kind of thing?
Sure, I'll let you do that. Absolutely.
Deferring my deferring my initiative.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
If it looks like they're going to shoot at me, I'll shoot first.
Okay. So
Um,
if they shoot at anyone in any of the PCs, you'll shoot at them.
yeah, I mean it's hard to know what a cop would do in this situation. I mean, I have a feeling anybody with a gun would become the priority target. But are they too far away for us to try to arrest them?
Well, they're medium range.
Yeah. So they're not
So
close range.
So I mean, you know what I mean? Like there's what I would do me, but then there's what I think a cop has to do, right? We have
Right.
to like declare that we're cops and we have to order them to put their weapons down.
Um.
I mean, does that hold true in the future too?
I'm thinking about the movies. Did
Uh,
the Blade Runners ever really declare themselves?
Not really, but I
No,
mean,
they just kind of whipped out their guns and started blazing at stuff.
I mean,
Only
I'm
after
down with
they were
that.
attacked first, though. Because let's be blunt, the dancer in the snake pit tried to kill Harrison Ford first before she ran away, and
Well, he,
then
he didn't have any problems shooting her in the back, and you can't do that as a
Well,
cop.
she's a blade. She's a
Oh,
replicant.
well
So
Replicant,
he
right?
was he was on a mission to retire her, so it was kind of
Yeah,
his job. And then let's see, when he shot Pris, well, she attacked him first. So
yeah.
I'm just
With
pretty
the
sure
butt
that
pliers.
it's
them
hard.
running
It's hard.
around with guns is illegal in the first place. Just
It
putting that out
was.
there.
well, they're
I,
definitely not police and they're definitely not military because police or military would have something identifying them as
All right.
such.
Well, I mean, they're shooting at innocent people largely, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
So I guess
have
I'm
they
going to
shot?
return. Fuck. You know what? I'm just going to return fire.
All right.
Hold it.
I'll,
Return fire. The guys in the shuttle haven't shot, right?
The guys coming out of the spinner? No,
The
technically they
spinner.
have not shot yet.
I thought you said they shot at the people.
No,
No.
not yet. They're getting out of the spinner with
With
their
Oh,
all the
so they
guns
weapons.
pointed at the people, but they hadn't acted yet.
oh they pointed at him. Okay.
And they have shotguns. You said,
They have
or they have
shotguns that are not currently out. They have their assault rifles out at the
assault
moment.
rifles. So
And their assault rifles.
All right. So are we behind cover at all where we are?
Just brush and that type of thing. I wouldn't call it cover per se, if you get
All
my
right.
meaning.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got my weapon trained on them. You know, I'll take a knee so they can see me, and I'll order them to put their weapons down.
Oh, all right.
This
Um,
is the police. Put your weapons down.
absolutely. Go ahead and make a manipulation roll with disadvantage.
wow.
All right. So in order to do that, I have to hit disadvantage up top,
Yep.
and then I roll the skill. That's all I need to do, I believe.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, look at you.
Um,
How
that's
do I get rid of the disadvantage thing?
just click it back
Normal.
to normal.
Click normal.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Well, that's really interesting. All right. All right. We'll deal with that in a moment. That takes us back to Novak, who is going to move into close range to where Fenna and the throngs of people are, and He is going to fire his 44, which didn't work at all. He's going to push the
At
roll.
whom?
Well, I want to tell you. Um, he actually shoots Lilith. Not Lilith, Leah.
Damn, boy.
Well,
All the while probably shouting for her to drop her weapon. Um, Percival, you're up.
We don't know the response from the hit team
Not
to
yet.
being told to.
not
Okay.
yet. It hasn't been their turn.
Yep.
They're down on the turn list.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
You
let's
guys
see.
pulled all the good cards.
I got to figure out whose play I'm going to back. We got Fenna being friends with Leia to, at the right time, do what he's going to do what she's going to do. Um, Olson just told the spinner guys to stand down. And Novak just shot Leah.
Yep.
Kill Novak.
What range? I'm still medium range, right?
Correct.
Um, all right. I'm going to back Olson's play. Pull my weapon. Um, Aim at the spinner guys, but basically, well, I had my weapon out. Aim at the spinner guys and take an overwatch. If they fire, I'm gonna fire.
Okay. All right. All right. And that brings us to Leah, who has taken a 44 round and is bleeding. She is going to move so that the whichever letter that is of the Hollywood sign right there that is going to give her some cover, um, while still dragging the girl along with her, who is now crying, and she is going to fire her blaster back at Novak, which that's a little complex of a way to handle things. Oh, I meant to roll two of those. That's okay. She succeeds and she hits Novak. It's not a critical hit. He just takes 2 damage, but that's actually pretty bad. All right.
Two damage. Yeah, when you look at these sheets.
Um,
Um, Hold on, I'm looking for real quick. I'm looking on the sheet. Health. Okay. Health counts down.
right.
Okay. I'm just looking on my sheet. All right,
No
because I
problem.
think I'm going to be clicking that in a minute.
All right. Now we've got the 4 guys, and I am going to make. I'm going to make. I know what one of them is specifically doing. I don't know what the other 3 are doing, so I'm going to make a random roll to determine that. Oh, okay. All right. One of them fires his Ender assault rifle, just starts blasting into the crowd.
Oh,
In fact, 2 of them do that, and you see people going down. Um, it, uh, well, they're wounded. The people are being wounded by this assault rifle fire, but most of them aren't necessarily going down right away. They seem to be taking those rounds reasonably well. Draw what conclusions from that you want. One of them is going to specifically shoot at Leah and one of them is going to specifically shoot at Bacher. Percival, you get to take your Overwatch shot.
All right. So the one that's shooting at Bacher,
Okay?
and am I medium range?
Medium range, yes.
So I use my sonic blaster. All right. So explain to me again. This is always confusing me. I have two modes on this sonic blaster,
Right. One does more damage. Um, one
and it's
does
shorter range.
correct if I remember correctly. I'm not
Yeah.
looking at it, but yeah,
Well, I'm looking at it. So I just click on the three arrow
arrows.
thing.
You got it. One success. Do you want to push the roll?
Yeah, I'll try and push it, but it never seems to work for me.
Yeah, yeah, it does, Bacher. Hold
Yeah,
on one
it
second.
doesn't work. So which one do I re-roll? I have
Re-roll the d6.
the D6. So let me go over here. D6.
No, look. All right, so that's good.
Okay,
You hit him. You did 2 damage to him.
correct.
All right, Bacher,
Yes.
did you want to
Shoot,
take your shot?
shooty time?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Shooty time. Heck yeah.
I like a shooty time.
You do have a success, so you do hit. Do you want to push that roll?
I feel like I should before I get cut in half with an assault rifle. So I go, what the hell? This drives me nuts.
Hit the push drop down box, and then the
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, I just got it.
yeah, and then the
Okay, good.
shot that
When
didn't hit was the D8. You can re-roll the D12 if you want to try and get multiple successes, but you can give it. It could put you in a position where you give up the success you got.
Yeah, I don't want to re-roll that. I just want to re-roll the one I
Yeah, so
didn't.
just click the D8.
Yeah,
All right, still one success.
works for
So,
me. Better than no success.
all right, so you did 2 damage to him, and now he's going to shoot back at you, which is 2d10s. And he has one success. So Bacher, you take 2 points of health damage. And the other one shoots at Leah and misses. All right,
I'm hit.
brings us to the top of the order, which is Fenna. What do you want to do, Fenna?
So Fenna was aiming at one of the guys in the car,
Yep. Oh, and
and
as a side note, I'm sorry. The moon bus, the doors have opened to the moon bus, and a guy has jumped out, and he's shouting and waving. Sorry, go ahead, Fenna.
yep, just saying I've aimed, and I believe aim just gives advantage,
Correct.
and then I will just take the shot.
Okay. Are you shooting at which one are you shooting at? The one that your teammates have wounded, or the one?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. So I click advantage,
Combine fire.
and
Rule number
tell
1: always combine fire.
exactly.
Works for the army.
I'm trying to get to my weapons.
Did you say you're selecting advantage?
Yep,
Why
because
do
I
you get?
aimed.
Oh,
Because
because
he,
you aimed.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have 2 successes. You are, of course, welcome to push that if you like, or you can keep it the way it is.
I think I'll keep that for now.
Okay, roll your critical, please.
How many extra successes it asks?
1.
0? Sorry, say again?
You had 1 extra success.
1. Okay.
Teeth knocked out. Ouch. Jeez. Um, well, the good news is, I mean, I guess you shot him in the mouth with your sonic blaster round, and his teeth go flying in a spray of blood, and he actually drops down to the ground, probably unconscious. You don't think you killed him. All right. Bacher.
And
Yeah,
if I have a move action, can't
you do have a
remember.
move action.
Yep, I'll just stick close to Leah.
All right, so that'll put you over right next to her, right there. Very good, Bacher. It's your turn.
What are we looking at in terms of hostiles now? There
There,
was one firing on the crowd.
yeah, there's two
One that
firing on the crowd.
Two firing.
There's one who
okay.
shot at Leah, and the one that shot at you is down.
Down.
So is there one left then?
No, there's three
No.
total. Three left.
Three total. Okay,
Yep.
you thought you said four before.
There were four. You took out one, and then two were shooting into the crowd. Though that may change now that they've been shot at. And then the
Right.
third shot at Leah specifically.
Well, I guess I'll shoot at the closest one.
Okay, that's fine. Not a problem. Ooh, would you like to push the roll?
Yes, sir.
I imagined as much. Oh,
Not in the cards.
or the dice. All right, you have a move action if you'd like to use it.
How close is cover? Can I get the cover?
There's not much in the way of hard cover here. Um, I mean, I would say you could probably use it to get into a position that would give you some degree of hard cover. Yeah, if that's what you want to do, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'll take cover. I don't know how it works for mechanics of the game, but just in role playing general, I would take cover at a gunfight. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
doing that.
All right, perfect. That'll move us to Novak. Novak is going to move to the Hollywood sign, and um, he's going to shoot at Leah again. And his roll is where? There it is.
God.
Wow, you guys suck. Oh, all right. On the push, he manages two successes, one extra success on the critical submit.
Oh
Ooh,
my.
uno momento, por favor. I gotta get a little more information on that. Page 73.
I mean, how much more information do you need off that shattered head?
Oh yeah. So Novak levels his 44 right at Leah and takes the shot, and yeah, her head jerks back and explodes backwards. Um, Little girl screaming, crying as Leah falls to the ground. Novak, with his smoking gun, says, "Retired."
God damn.
Percival, your turn.
Cold as ice. His heart is black as night.
Hey, he says, replicants are like any other machine. If they're a benefit, it's not my problem. Percival, your
Yeah.
turn.
You're
Um,
retired. You are retired.
all right. So when Olson said she fired at the closest one,
Hmm.
just for the sake of argument, which one was that? Was that the one shooting at Leah or one of the other two?
For sake of argument, that was number two.
All right.
I just made a random decision. The one firing who was firing at Leah will probably be looking for a new target. But this
I
was
get
one of the
that.
guys shooting into the crowd.
Now I'm going to shoot at number two.
All right, take your shot, sir.
All right. Now, something I didn't understand. Fenna got an advantage by aiming. Is that universal or is it?
It is universal, but it takes your action for this round, and it gives you
So,
advantage on your next attack.
yeah, but um, yeah, I don't want to do that anyway. I'm just going to take a shot, and that's medium.
One success, you can push that two if you want to. That's on
Oh
a
my God.
d6. Oh, your push button doesn't work, does it? Yeah, you have to use it manually. All right, so that's okay. You hit him. You did 2 damage to him. He is wounded.
And I have a move left.
You do have a move.
I'm gonna do the same thing. Try and find some cover.
All right, that's perfect. I'll make that work mechanically. And that brings us to, well, it brought us to Leah, but well, her action's a little her
Moot.
actions, yeah, it doesn't really matter. So that brings
She's been
us,
retired.
yeah, that's right. The the crowd, which is the crowd is now shouting and yelling and screaming. Most of them are running towards the moon bus. You know, they're trying to get around the sign and down the ridge. Of course, it's rocky and it's hard to sprint in that type of situation. So they're falling down and twisting ankles and all sorts of stuff. Um, I'm going to make a. I'm going to ignore a four. I'm going to make a random roll. And I said ignore a four. I don't know why they don't give you a D3 option. There we go. Sarah actually starts to run towards the moon bus also. Probably get the impression it's just kind of a caught up in the crowd type thing. But as she turns to go, she starts to run, and she's a little kid running down a rocky incline. She trips and falls pretty much right at your feet, Fenna. And then we've got the three guys. Um, One is going to continue to fire into the crowd. The one that who shot the one? That was Percival, right?
Yeah.
Percival, you're being fired at.
What happened to Olson's shot? Did Olson miss?
Olsen missed.
Oh.
Um, wow, these guys suck. All right, so he
Well, he's been
fires.
shot.
What's that?
He's been shot. Cut him some slack.
Oh, oh, please. He's supposed to be a professional. Damn it. All right, and then I'm going to give this guy. Actually, I think this guy is just going to also shoot at Percival. Oh, I only rolled one. Hold on. I'm sorry. All right. He succeeded. He shot at Percival. Percival, you took 2 damage.
Ouch. Okay.
All right. Brings us to the top of the order. Fenna. Fenna.
Fana. Hello.
Yeah, button has been clicked.
Oh.
Woohoo! Silly mute button. Are they medium or long range for me?
They're medium range.
I will then.
Because they've been slow. I don't have markers. They've been slowly moving in, so they're
Right.
somewhere around right here.
I will shoot with my medium range weapon.
Okay.
0 successes.
At the one Percival wounded,
Yep, and I will
push your D12.
push.
Very good. So you have a success. You do 2 damage. That will work. All right. Move action. Would you like to do anything with it?
I would just yell at Sarah, basically. Sarah, stay with me. They're going to shoot you if you are out in the open. And then
Okay.
I'll just try and get a better cover advantage.
All right. That'll work. I'm good with that. Bacher, you got two of these guys that have not been harmed in any way. One was shooting up the crowd. The other was shooting at Percival. And then you've got one that's been wounded twice.
The wounded guy was shooting at.
He was shooting in the crowd, but that's probably going to change now, since he's being shot at.
I will shoot the wounded guy,
Very good.
if I may. Take that.
Success. Yeah, you're welcome to push that 2 if you want to. That was on your D8, or you can let it stand. Whatever. Doesn't
I
hurt
pushed
to
it,
push it.
but it
Yeah.
didn't do anything.
Now, 2 damage still, though. So that works. Brings us to Novak. I think Novak is going to use his move action to kind of use the Hollywood sign for a little bit of.
Isn't he just going to spin around dropping the mic?
He's gonna shoot at the guy that you've all been shooting at. Uh, two successes, which is more than adequate. Critical one, submit, punctured lung. All right, so
Ew.
he drops that guy, and there's a as the guy with the assault rifle in black falls to the ground after being shot. There's a horrible sucking sound coming from his chest. Perfect, great. Percival, your turn. There's one guy who shot at you, and then there's the other shooting in the crowd, which I think at this point probably realizes the crowd's not the biggest problem. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot at the guy that shot me.
okay, very good. Ooh, I'll handle that in a minute. All right, you have a success, um, and there's really not much point in pushing that, in my opinion, because you can't push the die that rolled the one. So
Right.
yeah, so uh, all right, so that's one damage.
One damage?
You must have clicked the wrong one. You must have clicked the one damage round. I'll give you the two damage. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
No big deal. No big deal. Um,
That
brings
was
us
didn't mean that to do that. Okay.
no big deal. No big deal at all. Brings us to these guys. One is going to shoot at you, Percival, and I have to decide who the other one's going to shoot at. He hits you with the assault rifle, Percival. You take two damage,
Oof. That one stung.
Ouch.
and then the other one is going to shoot at Novak, and he hit Novak. Novak takes two damage. Ooh, Novak's looking rough. Novak is looking rough. And at this point, most of the people who can are running or scrambling or crawling or rolling or falling or whatever they can towards the moon bus. Um, as there's two guys standing outside the moon bus, just shouting for them to get to them as quickly as they can, so they can get out of there. Um, brings us to the top of the order, which is Fenna.
And I will shoot again.
All right.
Which one?
I assume the wounded one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shooting the wounded one with her one arm. One good arm.
You have no successes. Would you like to push the roll? Ooh.
Oof.
Oh, you take a point of resolve damage.
I will
You
take my
rolled a
point
one on
of
the push.
resolve.
What's your resolve at?
3.
Oh, okay, you're fine. All right.
Does resolve count down
It
or
does.
count up?
It counts down just like health.
Okay.
Um, I forgot to do one thing. I'll do it in a minute. Bacher, your turn.
I will shoot as well.
All right.
Oh,
Would you like to push that D8 roll? Oh,
oh.
Wah wah.
all right. Novak. Novak has two successes.
Nice.
He will check for his critical.
Wow.
This guy's the king of headshots.
He is headhunting today.
Dude, he plants a round right through the head of the next guy, blows his brains out. Wow. Okay. Um, and that brings us to Percival. Your turn. There's one bad guy left.
Was that the guy shooting me or the guy that was shooting
That
me?
was the guy shooting you.
All right, so he's still left.
Yes.
All right. Let me take a shot at him
All right.
because if not, I'm going to die soon. Um, Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
The game mechanics thing.
Yes.
Um, what actions could I take to try and evade since there's not really much cover? I mean,
No.
it doesn't look like since I backed since I backed Olson's play. Um, yeah, there's really nothing but scrub and little rocky outcroppings to hide behind. I I don't see how I can get away. Okay.
No. Yeah. Yeah. The I would probably. What I would let you do is you get a move action every round. Okay. You also use a sprint action, which takes your move action and your normal action, turns it into a move action. Requires a mobility roll. Okay. If you were to succeed at that and say you wanted to sprint down to the Hollywood sign and duck completely behind it, I would let you do that. You would just have to succeed on a mobility roll.
I'm just gonna shoot.
Okay, that's fine. One success. You can push that d6 if you want to, or you can let it stand. No luck. All right, very good. All right, and it brings us to this guy.
So I
What's
did 2 damage to him.
Yeah?
So I've hit him twice. Is that correct?
No, this guy has never been shot before.
Well, this guy's the guy who never been shot. Right.
Yeah. Can I get a can I get a d6 from one of you, please? Two.
No, who rolled that d?
That
Okay.
first d6 was you pushing your
Yep.
roll.
Okay.
So,
2.
um, huh. Okay. The last guy literally looks around at his three dead teammates, and the carnage that's been wreaked here, and he literally just kind of kneels down into a hunched position on the ground, his assault rifle falling from his hand, and he just lowers his head down and closes his eyes. And that's it. Um, human beings, I'm sorry, people are running towards the moon bus, and
Mostly replicants, right?
well, yeah, you don't know one way or the other if they're human or replicants.
Right. But they're all trying to get off the world at the same
Yeah,
time.
they're climbing into the moon bus as quickly as they can. Um, uh, Sarah has climbed to her feet, and she looks down at the dead body of Leah. She looks over at the moon bus, um, and she looks up at Fenna. She's crying. She doesn't seem to quite know what to make of all this. Um, Novak is reloading his blaster, the 44 part of his blaster. Who wants to say or do what?
Fenna will hold out her hand for Sarah and just smile and say, "Take my hand. I'll take you home."
She make a manipulation roll. She takes your hand, but she says, "I don't, I don't have a home now."
Oh,
We'll find you a new one.
She says maybe with Uncle Terry.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Novak's walking back up the the ridge he kind of glances over his shoulder and says, "Well, I guess one of us better call this in from
Yep.
the spinner."
Yep.
Says, "I don't think anyone's going to get here in time to stop them from leaving."
If they can leave, who knows if that thing can be flown? It can go somewhere.
Yeah. He says,
It can
"Yeah,
go. It can
Bacher,
go
that was a
somewhere. It
good
just
shot."
won't go to space, right?
That's right. He compliments Bacher on her shot, taking out the pilot like that, or at least wounding him. That was impressive.
All right, I'm gonna head to the spinner and call it in. I'm gonna call for medical help, and I don't know if any backup would be useful. Uh, and then uh, I'll let them know our status here. You guys cuff that piece of crap before I shoot him.
Or are you talking about the guy, the
Yeah,
last? Yeah. So who's going to go cuff him?
Well, I'll go,
Okay.
but we should at least have two people. We should
somebody should somebody should keep him covered.
keep them
Uh,
covered.
yeah. No, I think Novak is perfectly trigger happy enough to keep him covered. Um, uh, as you go to cuff him, he is completely non-responsive. He doesn't move at all. He doesn't even seem to be aware of your presence. And
Is he a
Bacher,
replicant?
you've seen this before. This is when a replicant just completely loses its will to live and dies.
Hmm.
Wow. Well, I'm not sure what precipitated that. Did he watch a sad movie
Well,
where
from
they
a
were
game
gunfighting?
mechanics standpoint, there are critical hits obviously for physical damage. There's also critical hits for resolve,
Okay.
and one of the stressors is seeing a friendly unit taking a friendly individual, friendly character. I'm sorry, taking a critical hit, and he saw three of his friendly units take critical hits. So his resolve went down to nothing, and he took a resolve a stress critical, and that's what happened.
Wow.
Clearly, he didn't drink his cup of harden the heck up this morning.
Well, I'm
But
gonna cuff all these people,
since you
even
asked the
though they're
question, I
dead.
will tell you yes, he's a Nexus 9 replicant.
I'll just cuff them all and secure their weapons.
All right. Um, After some time, you know, it's probably only a matter of minutes before the moon bus starts to lift off. It's obviously taken damage from where it dropped onto the ground, but it's flight worthy, at least within atmosphere, and it starts flying away. Novak kind of looks at it and says, "Well, probably shouldn't let them all get away, but we also don't have any proof they committed crimes either, so whatever." Um, the the CSI guys start to show up, uniformed cops, a couple other detectives from Rep Detect. Um, Holden Spinner comes flying in and lands, at the top of the mountain. He starts making his way down to you guys. He said, "Well, I guess this was it then." Sees the body of Leah as she's being zipped up into a bag. "Well, it's good you got her. Saved Sarah Tyrell."
Yeah, that's gonna be one traumatized kid. That's for sure.
Kind of looks at you and he goes, "We've all seen trauma. She just started a little earlier than the rest."
Oh man, you're a cold son of a bitch. Holy mackerel,
Says,
that's
"Well, after a replicant puts a few rounds through you and you spend 6 months only being able to breathe as long as no one unplugs you, you don't really worry about that too much. Who are these other bastards in black?"
uh we we have not figured that out yet, but my suspicion is that they're they are some kind of they're replicants, and they're some kind of hit team from Wallace, or I think trying to eradicate their problem. But that is a question. Um, when we search these guys, there's no identification on them at all, right?
Absolutely not.
There
Nothing.
wouldn't be any
Nope.
hint of where they came from or who they are.
Nope.
I
Vehicles unregistered. Nah, there's nothing.
right. So I don't know where these guys, but it's a black ops team, and if you don't know who they are, we don't know who they are, and
It's a black ops team made up of replicants.
yeah,
Is there any human amongst them?
Nope.
no,
So doubtful that this is that anti replicant. Initially, when you first said I thought that maybe it was like the Kill magazine guys, the group that
the
he's with.
vigilante guys,
Yeah, that's what I
vigilante
thought
guys.
it was, but they seem to be. Is this like military grade stuff
Oh
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
high
The
high
Ender
quality
assault
stuff?
rifle is a military grade weapon. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
Well, I'd just say to Holden, anything is speculation at this point. What we do know, and I'm going to question what you want put in the report. Remember, we told you what we surmised, and it looks like all the pieces hold together that this was an experiment gone wrong. Um,
he kind
we
of
don't
holds
know
his hand up.
we don't know the extent of condition. If you know what that word is, we don't know how many more of these experiments are walking around out there. But what do you want in the report? I'm not sure that Wallace wants this in a report.
He says, let me work on that. Um, let me work on that. We've I've actually got a representative from Wallace on the way right now. They are going to they're going to take these replicants back to their offices so that we can determine what their identities were, when their incept dates were, stuff like that. Wallace should have that information, so they're going to take charge of that part and report to us. Meanwhile, I'll start to I'll start to glue together what this shit show is going to look like
But
on the official report.
remember, and there are enough witnesses. There's enough crap gone down. There's enough information out there that this could start stirring up some view that the department had a rogue, and you don't. This could be a problem for the department and for you, Holden. Ultimately, and you've got an out if you can show that it was a Wallace experiment gone bad, that it wasn't the department's fault. There was nothing the department could do. It gets the department off the hook, but it puts Wallace in hot water, and that might not work either. So, you know, it's above my pay grade. I'll let you walk the political tightrope.
Yeah, let me worry about the politics of it. Meanwhile, why don't the four of you um, report in back to RDU, and then take some take some time off while we figure this out. And he turns and he starts to walk back towards his spinner. All right. Well, that's the end of Electric Dreams. So everyone have their character sheet up.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yep.
All right. So look at your promotion points section, and we're going to go down a list.
Oh, okay.
If you found one or more clues that led to real progress in the investigation, give yourself a point.
Okay.
I think everybody qualifies for that.
Yeah.
Um, did you Reveal Styles as a fugitive Nexus 8 replicant and report him to the RDU. Well,
Hmm.
no, you
Didn't
didn't.
we bring him in?
You brought
Yeah.
him in,
But
but
we didn't report him.
you never determined him as a fugitive Nexus 8.
Oh,
Right.
that's
No, but
right.
we did link him to the resistance,
All right,
which
you know what? That
kind of
that's
same thing.
that's kind of the same thing. I'll give it to you. That's close enough. You're right. That's close enough. I'll give you that. Absolutely. So we'll click that. Um, did you reveal the Aurelian as a replicant and report him to the RDU? I think that's a yes. Did you apprehend one or more suspects or fugitives up to and including Leah herself? Yeah, you apprehended Styles and the Aurelian, though the Aurelian you kind of did it for show. Did you stop Lilith from killing Lilith Tyrell? Nope.
Lilith?
You
Yeah.
mean Leah?
Well,
Don't
yeah,
you mean
Did you
Leah?
stop Leah from killing Lilith Tyrell?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Big old failure.
Womp womp.
This is a good one. Did you prevent the moon? Who prevented the moon bus from leaving Earth? Who took that shot? That was Bacher.
Bucker.
Bacher, you get a point for that. Because while they left, they didn't leave Earth, and that's what it says. Um,
Of course, it was my idea, but okay.
I'll split the point with you, bro.
split the point. Kept Sarah Tyrell safe from harm. I think you all get that one.
Um, Physical harm.
Yeah, well, we're not
That's
worried
going to
about
be one messed up kid.
No
According to
doubt.
Holden, she's fine. She's fine. Don't worry. She'll be fine.
Uploaded at least 1 point of important evidence um, to the mainframe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Um, saved the life of another LAPD officer.
Hmm.
That goes to Bacher because Fenna was knocked out by the replicant street thugs.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that goes to
nice,
Bacher.
nice. Yeah. Guys, I'm going to be a fucking lieutenant when this is done.
Yeah. This one, no one did reported one or more other player characters for some form of misconduct and presented evidence to back up the claim. No one did that.
Man,
Um,
Novak almost got that treatment.
Almost. Um, took a baseline test and passed replicants only, and that's obviously none of you guys. Now that's for the promotion points. Where's the humanity points? Oh, there we go. Um, tell you what, I don't know about you guys, but I gotta take a leak. Humanity points. Who went to Leah's apartment? Was that Novak and Bacher?
Yes.
That was Novak and Bacher. So okay. Um, realized that
What, going to her apartment is a point? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, a humanity point, not a
Okay.
promotion point.
I don't know what that does, humanity point. So when you're done, maybe just explain it out of
Yeah,
curiosity.
it's for advancement of the character. Um, realized that Styles is a replicant, but didn't arrest him. That was Bacher and wasn't that Novak and Bacher again originally?
Well, we brought him in.
But not originally. You didn't, but you did bring him in the end. So
Yeah, I mean, originally we realized he was a replicant and we
yeah,
didn't do anything
but he
to
lied
him.
to you about who he was, so you really didn't have a reason to bring him in. All
Yeah,
right,
but
so
we eventually did, so I don't know.
yeah, we're gonna skip that one. Um, realized the Aurelian is a replicant, but let him go. You didn't let him go. You brought him in, so that's out. Um,
Yeah, but we
befriend
treated him like didn't we treat him like
like
an
an
informant?
informant. Yeah,
Yeah, we brought him in, but not really. He's not being charged. I don't
yeah.
know.
I think we're
Doesn't-
skipping that one.
yeah.
Befriended Iris. She was the dancer at the snake pit.
Befriended's a strong word.
Befriended's a
Yeah,
strong word. I think you
we
interrogated her. I don't know if you
we yeah
befriended her.
we be acquaintanced her.
Yeah. Yeah, be acquainted her. Befriended Sarah Tyrell. Um, I I mean I think Fenna deserves that. Who saw that was Fenna and Percival originally that went to the memory lab, correct?
Yeah, and Fenna's the one who went out of her way to sit with her and talk to her.
Yeah, so I'm going to give that to Fenna, absolutely. Um, learned about Leah's traumatic memory.
That was Percival.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Percival and
And
Fenna.
Fenna. Percival
Yeah,
and Fenna get that one. Yep. Because you guys went to the memory lab and found out about that.
right.
Um, okay, tried to talk Leah down from killing Lilith. No, that didn't happen. Kept Sarah Tyrell safe from harm. Fenna, that's definitely
Yeah,
you.
Well, we
Um,
helped a little.
what's that?
We helped a little. The people in the gunfight sort of helped to stop them shooting.
Yeah, I don't think that was directly trying to keep Sarah Tyrell safe,
Okay.
though. Yeah. Allowed the replicant exiles to escape. That happened.
yeah.
None of you really felt a need to stop them. Um, did refused to upload a piece of evidence to the LAPD mainframe in order to protect somebody. I don't
Yeah, we
think
did that.
did we?
The Aurelian, we protected him.
Okay. I'll give you that. Yeah, yeah, I'll give you guys that one.
Oh, and I never. I told Holden, but I never uploaded any of the information on the experiment.
Oh, that's true. But it's only 1 point per bullet point, so.
Okay.
But that's fine. You all gain it. I'm good with it.
All right.
Um, uh, refused to follow orders because the character felt they were wrong. I don't think that happened.
No, we got
Um,
yelled at a lot. Does that count for anything?
that's right.
Humiliation points
Used
are
your key
maxed out.
memory or interacted with it in some way. Um, you'll have to make an individual judgment call on that one.
Say that again.
I did
Used your
not.
key memory or interacted with it in some way. I know Novak did not either.
Uh,
All right. Interacted with their key relationship. I know Fenna did that. I don't think Novak did. No. Played a scene of downtime. Everybody did that. Um, failed a baseline test. Nobody did that because that's replicant only. So let's do this because it's 1 o'clock,
okay.
and I'm crossing my legs trying to hold it here.
Doing a hydro test.
Yeah, let's do a quick break. We'll come
Okay.
back. We'll talk about this for a few minutes. Okay. All right. I'm here. I don't know if anyone else is. Nope, didn't think so.
Olsen stack.
All right. Forget global warming. I just raised the sea level all by myself. I'm trying to find. Humanity points. What'd you think of Blade Runner?
It's fun. Yeah, it's very interesting. Did a good job of capturing the theme, I think.
I think so too. Um, I will say, this one ends with a dramatic gunfight. I will say that the mechanics of the gunfight, I mean, they're fine. They're simple. They're straightforward. They keep it moving quickly, but at the same time, it almost feels like a long drawn out gunfight takes away from it a little bit. Does that make sense? This is
You
the
mean
way
from
I
like the
felt.
theme?
Yeah, because at this point it just was, I'm gonna shoot. Okay, I'm gonna shoot. Okay, I'm gonna shoot. You know what I mean? It was just that. I mean, I guess that's just what it is. Um, I don't know. So, how many humanity points do you have?
I have three.
Okay.
Finna has 7.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
More
Novak.
human than human.
That's right. You
Do we
can't.
heal our characters to the max again?
Yeah.
In case we use them again in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know when we'll. I don't know when we'll come back to this because the way the scenario reads, this is the starter set scenario, and the way it reads, this is one adventure in what's going to be a campaign, and I took it to mean that they will probably have these same characters come back. I could be wrong. It's not really clear, and I haven't really spent any time on it, but I still haven't figured out how one would make their own case files and keep the same kind of feel with the, you know, here's a picture, what do you want to look at type thing. Because
I
I
think
thought
that
that was a really neat part of it.
that is neat, but yeah, it's a problem for homebrewing for sure. Wasn't crazy about the Hollywood sign um, postcard being like such a central clue. I thought that was
It was a
a
little
little
weak.
little forced. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you see a postcard somewhere, you're in LA or whatever, you see a postcard for the Hollywood sign, like doesn't that wouldn't get your attention in any way,
probably
I don't
not.
think.
I guess my follow up question on that is what did we miss?
Um, well, actually, when it came down to it, you didn't miss much at the end here. Uh, because we started off with Marty VP bringing up that that Lilith and Leah kind of bore a resemblance to each other, and that was like the big thing that you guys missed early. Because the hope is, when you're reading the scenario, the hope is that the PCs will realize that the two look similar um, when they first meet Lilith. And that would have led you down an interesting path. Because if you had asked her about it, she would have actually told you that she was the templant for Leah. That was part of her deal with Wallace to get Terry made, uh, looking like Eldon Tyrell. Um, that she agreed to do that for them. And that might have put you in a position, possibly, to save Lilith instead of her getting killed. Because it could happen if you're at the right place at the right time. You can actually you can encounter Leah um, as she's coming into the Lilith memory lab, but you guys were just a hair too late. So um, beyond that, you didn't. That was the major thing. Um, there's a variety of things you could do. Certainly, if Leah survives, she suggests to both Percival and Fenna that they go with her on the moon bus and leave. Um, which, whether or not they do, I guess that's up to the player. I don't know that it really fits within their characters per se. But maybe going through this scenario and this journey, they've changed their mind. I don't know. So, um, the real red herring in it all is actually Kill Magazine. Because there is a red herring, and the real red herring was Kill Magazine. If you guys had spent time going up there, you'd have gone into this grungy little office. Because you guys never went there, right?
Correct.
Yeah. You go into this grungy little office, and you meet um, you meet the owner of the magazine, Yella Schuyler, and he tells you he was there. He doesn't hide anything from you. He's very aggressive. He's very much
Didn't we meet him at the club?
no, no. You were told he was there that night, but you never met him.
I thought there was one guy that we interviewed on the first day when we went to the club. Oh, it
Well,
was maybe the club owner I'm
yeah,
thinking of.
Taffy Lewis.
Yeah.
Yellow Schuyler is very and I don't know if you guys ever got to even see a picture of him. I'll pull it up. Oh no, not shuffle. Hold on. Choose. I don't know if you guys ever even saw him. But there's a picture of him. He's um he's very much this what we would call today, uh, alt right type guy. But instead of being racist, he's humanist. He hates replicants. Just he completely hates replicants. And it's the typical stuff: building replicants, stealing jobs from hardworking people, and that type of thing. But he's also he's very, he's very much like Alex Jones. Everything's a conspiracy. He's a loudmouth. He's obnoxious. He's aggressive. He's just designed to be a character you don't like. But if you go to his magazine, he tells you outright that he was there that night. He saw the whole thing happen. He saw Leah shoot Sandor. Um, and if you go there before he publishes the magazine, he even shows you the cover of the magazine he's about to publish. and there's almost nothing you can do to keep him from doing it, honestly. Um, so, so from the
So
what's that?
I'm back. I just you were discussing stuff we missed.
Yeah, you didn't really miss anything. When it came down to it, you a little late, but you came to the realization that Lilith and Leah look alike. And if you had asked Lilith about that when you meet her, she would explain that she was used as a what's called a templant, which is basically a template, a genetic and physical template for a replicant,
Okay.
and that Leah was her templant.
How could we have stopped Leah from killing what's her face?
Um, the Really, that's a hard thing to do. The only way you can really do it is if you come to the decision that Leah probably views. Oh shit! Hold on, my boss is calling me. Give me a minute, guys. Easier said than done.
Just when we're starting to get some good info. Isn't it always the way?
Okay. Yeah, obviously I didn't have time to work on it at all last night. I didn't even there until 8:30. So, all right, man. Thanks. All right, I'm back. Preventing Leah from killing Lilith is a hard thing to do because you pretty much have to make the connection um, that Leah's probably viewing Sarah as her daughter and decide to put Leah in some sort of protective custody or stake out the memory lab. Put Lilith in custody with her daughter or stake out the memory lab. Um, Putting Lilith in protective custody requires a call to Holden, a connections roll, and a promotion point. Staking out the lab is fine. You just decide who's going to do it, and anyone staking out the lab will see Leah coming to the memory lab, and she walks right up to the retina scanner. It scans her eyes, and she walks right in. But then at that instance, you know something's not right. First off, it's the fugitive you're looking for, and you can intervene at that point. Um, so, which, by the way, if you call in, if you call in saying that Leah just showed up and went inside the memory lab and we're going in, maybe you guys have split up or whatever. While you're in there, hopefully talking her down or otherwise saving Lilith Tyrell, the Wallace kill team shows up there because the call just came through, and so now they know where Leah is. Yeah. So yeah. Um, as far as promotion points are concerned, if you have 5 or more promotion points that you earn in one scenario, Holden is going to give you some sort of citation, which I'm not going to deal with that right now. Humanity points are the spendable XP. Um, and you have to have 5, 10, or 15 to do anything.
Huh. Did we finish the humanity point
Yes,
counting? Okay.
we did. So if you have 5 humanity points, you can spend them to upgrade any skill that is a D to a C.
Hmm.
And if by some chance you have 10, you can take a C to a B. And if by some chance you have 15, you can take a B to an A. So Novak's only got 4, so he's not doing anything.
Um, and if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna head out and get ready for work.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Now leave Fena's promotion points for next time we play. Give me some time to think about it as well.
Sure.
So
I real quick before you go, I do want to run an alien one shot in 2 weeks.
sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want a kid, an 18-year-old kid? Do you want a scientist, a pilot, or a company rep?
Uh, if I got the choice, I'll do pilot this time.
Okay. All right. Good enough. All right, Bob. Thanks for coming.
Cool, yeah, and I'll confirm next play date with you on Facebook.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Cool.
All
Thanks
right.
for the game, guys. See ya.
Awesome.
See you, Bob.
Bye. Take care.
I'm going to pull up the link to that game.
What about these Chinyan points?
Chinyan points are your in-game money, essentially.
That's right. I just wonder how do cops get money?
Well, and Chinyan points are a little more than money. They're. Oh, 1 second here. No, cancel, cancel, cancel. Um, Copy link address. That's what I was trying to do. They're they're a measure of not just wealth but general resources, and obviously you're paid just as part of your as part of your job. You know,
All right. Well,
and
that's what I was alluding to. If you're a cop, um,
Chinyan points are a mix of amassed wealth, um, connections, things of value that you can use to
okay.
influence people, stuff like that. It's a little more intangible than just money.
I was just wondering if you can, as a cop, walk down the dark side a little bit, take bribes.
There is actually a class of cop called the skimmer.
Oh, really?
Um,
That's great.
Everybody but you knows that you're more kipple than cop. There's so much dirt under your nails, getting clean is an act of futility, naivety. Screw 'em, let them talk. If internal affairs could get you, they'd have gotten you by now. Fact is, they need you. Sure, there's more cream than caffeine in your cup. Skimming is a slippery slope, and few would call you graceful, but you're still a damn good cop, and when trash needs taking out, you're the one willing to get dirty. If you're lacking evidence, maybe you'll plant some. If somebody isn't talking, maybe you'll make them. You owe half the city, and the other half owes you. So if the case conveniently settles a debt or squashes ants hoarding all the crumbs, all the same, so long as the paperwork is filled in triplicate, and you have flawless penmanship when it comes to covering your own ass. The city doesn't play fair, why should you? So what if they've got a side hustle? Who cares if special interests can buy your protection like a side of fries? Your way of life ain't cheap, and last you checked, banks don't accept good intentions as collateral. So the Skinner is an empathy-based character. Key skills are firearms, connections, and manipulation. They start with up to 12 Chin Yen points, which is the most.
Wow.
And they have available to them some specialties that help with economics, shall we say.
Wow. All right.
So,
Okay. What were you doing before I interrupted?
oh no, nothing. I posted a link over to the the alien game I want to run in 2 weeks. I've got enough set up that I can throw you guys characters if you want to see it real quick.
Sure. Should we go there now?
Yeah, let's just do it real
I
quick.
assume that will take us out of here.
Yeah,
Can we click?
yeah, just
Oh,
click play. Yep.
okie dokie.
All right. You hear me?
Yeah. Hear me?
Yep.
Well, that looks ominous.
I'm not sure what I'm seeing there. That's a little frightening. You there,
Yeah.
Sharif?
Yeah, some reason Roll20 wants to use my VR headset like a webcam.
I was wondering I was like, is that what Spider-Man sees?
Yeah, it's got, it's the index and it's got two little cameras up front so that it can sense uh, the limits of the area that
Yeah.
you program into it.
Right.
Um, and I guess those are actually they're not like sensors. I guess they're actually like lenticular, like cameras of some kind. Because yeah, I've seen that happen before. Where it happened to me when I was trying to, how I got hacked off of Facebook a little while ago,
Right.
and when I was trying to take a picture of my driver's license with the webcam, Facebook would force the headset over the webcam.
Oh, that's weird.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it was very strange.
What model do you have? What type do you have?
Of VR headset.
Yeah.
It's the Index, the Valve Index.
Okay.
It's quite nice if you enjoy that sort of thing, and I enjoy it. It's fun, but I mean, it still has a long way to go, I would say. But
I have the Oculus,
yeah, it's good too.
but but I learned not to play the don't play the VR golf.
No,
No, it screws up your regular golf game.
oh,
So,
they sorry.
Bob's going to. Oh no, you're fine. Bob is going to end up playing. Oh, what's going on here? Bob is going to end up playing the pilot, which is Malcolm Edmonton. Um,
Edmontonson.
that's right. Here, let me try making a blank page and just doing that for a minute. Give me 1 second. You guys should just see a blank grid, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so there we go. That's Malcolm Edmonton. That'll be Bob's character. I've got Chip Mallory, who is technically the career kid. I've got his mother, Dr. Louise Mallory, the scientist, and then I've got Mercedes Lamara, the company agent.
Hmm.
So these are four choices.
Correct.
Okay, you're killing us here, Marty.
I know. I know. And
You're
Jim
killing
says
us.
he's going to play too, so we'll get Jim back for it.
Okay. Uh, uh, I don't know. These are not like.
Well, I don't want to play the scientist. Let's see.
I guess I'll play the scientist.
All right, I'll play the company agent.
All right.
And then
So.
what? Jim's going to be Wesley Crusher.
Yeah.
I get to be his mom.
Yeah.
That's weird.
All
That'll be
right.
an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Louise Mallory is going to be edited and playable by Crom. You should see, and these, the reason I brought you guys over here is because the character sheets are different. I guess Free
Yeah, I
League
noticed that.
finally uploaded their official character sheets. There are some cool things about them in that your gear, for example, when you put your gear in on the right, that box just keeps going as low as you want, and when you add the encumbrance for the gear, it calculates for you. So
Oh,
that's helpful. Um, the rolling works the same as usual. For example, I'm just going to roll. I have Mercedes open, so I'm just going to roll Mercedes Comtech and see right there, and it's a little more graphically represented. Zero successes, zero panic, and it shows you what all the rolls were. But you see, there's a push button right on it.
oh, cool.
So the push dynamic works in that I've played around with this for about 10 minutes. If you have a success, the push dynamic, when you hit that push button, it keeps that success or any successes you have and just re-rolls the extra dice. The only thing it doesn't do when you go to hit push is it doesn't add the stress automatically. So before you hit the push button, you've got to add your stress and then hit push.
Gotcha.
So um, it does not have the built-in stress mechanic. So meaning if you panic, it doesn't have a panic button you can just hit.
Oh,
So we'll have to handle some of that manually. But the other character sheets are gone. They don't exist anymore.
huh. I
So
wonder
if
why.
you, yeah, I guess something Free League did when they made their official sheets available. You can't get the old ones anymore. So though they still exist on older games that I had pre-set up, I don't know, but I couldn't find them. But even still, this is fine. It's just a little bit of a different, slightly different interface, but it's all right. So I wanted to show you guys that real quick and let you see your characters and
Okay.
get acquainted. Um, all right, and then I guess that's that then. We'll play this in 2 weeks if everything goes according to plan.
Perfect. So, are any plans for next week? We're not playing.
No,
Okay.
next week I'm on vacation,
Ooh,
and
good for
Uh
you.
oh. Uh oh. 2 weeks is what day?
the 12th.
Yeah, that's a problem. I can't play.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well.
I'm gonna be on a trip to the Outer
Oh,
Banks.
you're. That's right. I forgot. You did tell me that.
Very nice.
All right. Well, we might have to make it the 19th then. I hate to go 3 weeks without playing,
But
but it is what it is. Um,
sorry.
no, 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 no. I mean,
No,
it's better to find out now.
yeah, that's life, man.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You said a fishing trip. You cut out at the beginning.
Golf.
Golf trip. Oh, okay.
Yep. Golf. Um,
So you're an avid golfer, I take it.
yes.
Sorry, what was that?
Avid's not the best word I would use anymore. I used to
No,
play a lot more golf than I have been, which is weird because when you retire, you're supposed to play a lot of golf, but
so they say.
other stuff just seems to always be in the way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get that. Uh,
And it doesn't help that the golf course we have, we're not buried alive in golf courses here like in Chicago, but we've got a handful, but the one I like to play is 35 minutes away, so it's a commitment to go over there to play. Oh well.
all right. All right. So I'll reach out to Jim and make sure the 19th is fine for him,
Okay.
and then
And
and
He'll be
Bob.
then
gone. He's gone. I th- I know today they're getting ready to leave. So I don't know if they're leaving tonight or if they're leaving tomorrow early. But you may not be able to get him because he's leaving for Vegas, and he'll
yeah.
be gone. He'll be gone till next Wednesday. So if you don't get him today, you probably won't be able to get him until next Wednesday, unless he's checking his
Oh,
text or whatever.
that's no problem. That's no problem. Um, I'll just hit him up and he can just get back to me when he gets back to me. It's no problem. All right, cool. All right, guys.
All right.
I'm gonna go
Thanks
see
for
what
running
kind of
it.
trouble I can get into. Yeah,
It
thanks.
was
Thanks so
fun.
much for playing.
It's always fun to try new games.
Yeah,
The only comment I'll make, we've had this discussion before offline, but the main feedback is that if you're gonna do a Blade Runner scenario like this, we really need to try and slice out, 3 or 4 weeks in a row without stopping, because those long breaks. This is a very cerebral game. Thinking about all your hints and clues and everything, and these long breaks really mess that up. That continuity.
I don't. I agree completely. There's no doubt in my mind. So, but
All right.
yeah, just the way things worked out for us this go round, especially with my work schedule, it's more on me than anybody.
Of course, I spent the last couple weeks thinking hard about everything and coming to some of those breakthroughs, but those breakthroughs meant nothing really. Think about it. They didn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's too bad. But I mean, hey, you worked on it though. That's cool.
Yeah, but we learned we backed up the why, but the why. So what? You keep saying so what? Okay, so now I know why she's doing what she's doing, but that doesn't change the fact that we got to find her and stop her. And the Holly, it's so funny. The Hollywood sign was so obvious and so heavy-handed that we kept thinking it was a red herring for a long time. But
Well, honestly, I honestly it crossed my mind when we were
yeah, well,
there,
me too.
but I just made the role playing decision that that's not like that's how is that a clue? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I made a role playing decision that my character
Well,
wouldn't look twice at a Hollywood
No,
postcard sign
I
thing.
knew it was a clue, and I thought there was a reasonable chance that that would be the pickup point, but I still thought it might be a red herring. So, but basically, before Holden told us to go over there,
yeah,
that we were going to have to anyway. It was the last. We had nothing else. That was it.
right.
That was all.
I
Yeah, I
just
think you actually said that at one point. I don't know if it was this session or last session, but I
Yeah.
believe you said that. You're like, this is literally
yeah, and
our only
and
lead.
I basically took the decision point away from you guys anyway by just having Holden say, "Go do this."
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
actually a good move as a DM to because I think we were all like out of ideas.
Yeah,
It was important that that Bob's character Fenna not run off to the police station to try and get more out of those two guys.
that well, and it's a good
That was
idea
the
you
most
didn't go to
important
the
thing.
police station to scour the mainframe too, because that fight with only two people can get very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
no
of
doubt.
course, maybe not with Novak around. He just,
Blowing people's brains out.
yeah. So
All right.
cool. All right.
All right.
Well, we'll
I'll see
plan
you
on
guys.
the 19th. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. We'll figure it out.
Okay,
All
cool.
right, cool. Thanks
All right.
everybody.
See you
All right.
guys.
Bye.
Later.